Hello and welcome to eRacing GP. This is Global Edition 8, the 8th time we've done this. My name's Alex Young, and with me?
Mama Afiq bin Farid.
Yeah, good to have you with us, Afik. This is the 8th time we've run the Global Edition, so thank you for joining us. We're in round 3 of 4, only 4 rounds this season. And we do this every Saturday. Bit of fun, a bit of practice for our sim drivers mostly from the Asia Pacific region, though we do get a few Europeans and a few Americans joining us as well. We have 4 classes. We start with the copper class, which is more for the beginners. Then we go to the bronze, silver, and then the gold. And this global edition, we got the silver and gold combined, so they're racing together. And those are for the more, shall we say, experienced drivers. Okay, so we're here at the copper class. About to go into just a couple more minutes of practice. Let's go and have a look, see how the championship is. There we go. There's the championship standings, and a few of the championships are very close. Copper class is one of them. Look at that. Only 2 points between Chris Chu and Keith Moe. Keith Moe, the 9-year-old, he's a bit amazing, but he's sick today. So he's not able to participate. But yeah, real youngster that's coming along nicely. John McGregor in 3rd. Adam Kondralocious in 4th. Ronaldo Julie from Indonesia in 5th. Jack McGregor in 6th. Kenneth Wong in 7th. Mohammed Hassif in 8th. Jet Lee Russell, another youngster, in 9th. And Shami Mashindra in 10th. Okay, and now let's also have a look at the Teams Cup as well. We can see the guys there practicing right now. That's Chris Chu there. But we'll have a look at the Teams Cup right now. And in the Teams Cup, we have Stratos Motorsports leading by a long way. Wow, they were last year's champions, so it looks like they're going to win this because it doesn't look like anyone's going to catch them. Academy in 2nd. Team Racing Line, a stalwart here in Global Edition in 3rd. FSA Racing 4th. Z Challenger Racing from Hong Kong in 5th. On to the Nations Cup, and Malaysia has a big lead. They are the defending champion right now. We are based here in Malaysia, so we do get a lot of friends joining in, so good number of support from Malaysia. Singapore 2, Philippines in 3rd, Hong Kong doing very well this season in 4th, with Australia in 5th. Okay, so we're at Portimao, I think, and we're watching Chris Chu right now. He is the championship leader in Copper right now, based out of Singapore. But let's talk a bit about the track. What do you like about it?
Elevation changes. I think elevation changes in Portimao is one of the best in the European region, apart from Spa. As you can see on the track on your screen right now, there's 15 corners and it runs in a clockwise direction. So look out for turn 1 and turn 5. Those are going to be your overtaking opportunities. We're going to see a lot of drivers overtaking there. And then the dipper, turn 8 and then turn 11. So
Wow.
you'll go up the hill and then you'll go straight down. You have a very good chance of spinning there if you can't control your car.
All right, let's go back and let's go to the let's try and see if we can follow someone, shall we? Let's see anyone out on track. There's Chris Chu there going through, what's that, turn 5. You were just talking about a lot of overtaking opportunities there. See who else is out there. Jack McGregor there. Let's go on board with him, shall we? Coming across out of the last corner and onto the finishing line. That you're so right. Look at that elevation change there.
Yeah, it goes up and it goes down very quickly, especially on the pit straight, which is very unique because every other track in Europe or possibly in the world doesn't have these characteristics. That's what makes Portimao interesting.
Through turn 1, then turn 2 is easy flat, isn't it? Turn 3 is a tricky corner. Always got a lot of understeer here, trying to get the car to turn round, and then the traction is really important. Turn 4, is turn 4 flat?
It's turn 4 is flat, but you go up the hill, so you have the chance to lose the rear again. And like I said, that's what makes Portimao interesting. Elevation changes is a dream here.
Yeah, and check out Jack McGregor there. As he goes through turn 5 now, that's that overtaking spot we talked about earlier on. I love his beard. It's going to get longer and longer. Turn 6 looks flat, and then that downhill section you were talking about into turn 7.
Yeah, it's a downhill section coming to turn 7, so it's a fast right-hander before you slow down for turn 8. Now, turn 8 is called Samsung, but you go up the hill, and then you see Jack will go plunge down the hill onto turn 9, which is Craig Jones. Craig Jones is a fast sweeping left-hander there, and then you got a hard brake for turn 10 and turn 11, which is a Portimao corner. That's what it's called. Same characteristics as turn 8 though. Turn 11, you have to be very careful, and turn 12 is a flat-out left-hander before you brake hard for turn 13 and onto the final few corners of the track, Alex.
Yeah, so turn 14, this downward long swooper. Very important corner to get right, isn't it? Because this leads you into the last corner, which is an easy flat corner. So you need a really good exit out of turn 14. And here we go, turn 15. Look at it going downhill. Front will be Understeering through there is really for sure as the elevation disappears from you and then goes back up. But not a severe corner, should be easy flat in pretty much every kind of car. And that's a lap. And thank you, Jack, for taking us around. Hopefully you have a good rest. Whoa, he goes quickest of all with that one. Is that Jack? No, that's his father.
That's his father, John McGregor.
Has gone quickest of all. Wow, so John's gone quicker. Jack McGregor there in 4th position. So, yeah, no, good. The McGregors, both these McGregors have won races in Copper class quite a few times over the seasons. But, you know, like most of us, we have day jobs and stuff, so their consistencies, they haven't practiced as consistent as some of the others, so they've not won a championship in Copper. John McGregor, who we were just talking about, John is actually, there he is in the green car. He's actually 3rd in the championship. So, you know, an experienced driver, he could actually, you know, he'll be fighting for the championship today.
Yep, and with Keith Moore not racing today because he's sick, I think that gives a lot of opportunity for John to close the gap to Chris Chu.
John always loves his camera underneath the screen. I'm not a big fan of it, but it does give us a very unique view of him as he practices. I don't think he's not based in Singapore anymore. I think he's moved back to Australia. But yeah, John's thanks for that unique view. He might end up seeing up his underpants eventually. But yes, John McGregor there. What does he have to do to win today, you think?
Overtake Chris Chu. Is he as that?
That's right. Chris Chu is leading that championship, and Chris Chu, another driver who has been very quick in the past, but's coming good. Oh, I want to just talk about Adam Contraloccis. Adam, okay, he's in the pit lane, about to go into qualifying. Maybe we'll ride on board for him for the first lap. He's very interesting because Adam is a driver that actually has been doing Copper class since the very beginning, but he's struggled. You know, and only in this global edition, only this 8th running of it, has he suddenly found something, another step forward. And he's actually been running at the front quite consistently so far.
Yeah, it does. And Adam, like you mentioned, being in Copper since season 1 of Global, you don't really want to be there because you want to improve yourself as a driver. So for Adam to pick up the pace and find something within himself has to be very refreshing for him. So he may be, you know, in the contention for the win today. You'll never know.
Okay, another driver, new driver that's just joined us while Adam starts his lap is John Rick
Carson.
Carson.
Carson. Apologies there if you pronounce your name wrongly there.
Yeah, Carson, I think that's about right. He's starting his lap. Let's follow him. New driver joining us from the Philippines. And you can actually see him on board right now. There he is in the inset. Comes through turn 4. Up to turn 5. It actually goes uphill quite a bit here. Oh, he's purple in sector 1, but I think that might just be because he's the first driver on track.
Yep, and turn 5 coming into 12 VIP, and then it's a very slow exit from turn 5 there by John Rick. Then flat out turn 6, and turn 7 is I would lift a bit in the CR1, but if it was in the Formula cars, I'll go flat out before I brake hard coming to turn 8.
Yep, bit squirrely on the exit there. Doesn't look like he's using all the roads, so this won't be the fastest lap we'll see in qualifying, but a good banker lap with just over 4 minutes still to go.
Yep, so 4 minutes to go. John Rick Carsken, purple sector 1, purple sector 2 as he exits turn 11, fast sweeping left-hander of turn 12, and then you brake hard coming into turn 13 there. Yeah,
nice smooth driving style. Doesn't look flustered at all. Yeah, definitely can carry more speed through some of these corners. Not attacking him enough, but yeah. You know, first qualifying lap of the session, you know, it's good and important to keep it nice and clean, and I think he's definitely done it.
Yep.
Though he has to watch out for track limits. That would be not a nice way to get a track limits just there.
Yeah. The thing about Portimao is the track is wide. It's probably as wide as Sepang, or no, not as wide as Sepang, sorry, but it's amongst the widest track in Europe. So he has to take all the road. He has to utilize all the road here.
Yep, and there we go. Chris Chu goes quickest. Nice. And he's continuing on. He's not resetting. There he is in his red and black car. Quickest by all, 50.7. And he's 3/10 in front of Jack McGregor. John McGregor's not set a time yet. I got a feeling he might have abandoned his lap and is restarting. Okay, this isn't a great lap by Chris. He's actually 3/10 down in sector 1. So let's still see where John McGregor is right now. Ooh, this looks like not a bad lap so far.
Yep, exiting turn 11 now by John McGregor. He is 3/10 down by Chris Chu in sector 1. However, he's 300ths down in Sector 2. So, you know, he can qualify himself up to P2 or probably P3.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. He's come through a couple corners left to go. Just in case you forget, my name's Alex Young. With me is Afiq, and we'll have Ammo joining us for commentary later on. But just looking at this picture there, he doesn't look so happy, does he? But this should be good enough for the front 2 rows, but I don't think it'll be good enough for pole, will it?
Yeah, we won't. Maybe not good enough for pole as John McGregor crosses the line now. What will his time be? As we can see now, crosses the line. Oh, it's P2.
P2, that is the front row. So he had an excellent last sector. Nice lap there indeed.
Yep.
And he's continuing on his lap. We'll come back to him in a second. Let's see how far he goes later on. Chris Chu there. Let's see what lap he's on.
Oh, faster Sector 2. Chris Chu crosses the line now. A little bit more time. Crosses the line with a time of 150.2. So he did improve his lap time.
Wow. Okay, so he found a lot of time in sectors 2 and 3. Let's go back to John McGregor though and see how he's doing. Purple sector 1. Look at that.
Oh, 3/10 up.
Okay, so that's a massive sector 1. He's got to keep it on the line now. Let's see. 1.5 minutes left in qualifying. This is his lap. He has to do it. Has to keep it clean and not make a mistake. 2 more sectors to go still.
Yep, 2 more sectors to go. Exiting turn 8 Samsung there. A big deeper down the mountain, and then you go up the mountain again for turn 9. Fast sweeping, and look at that. 700s up in sector 2 by John McGregor.
Okay, so he's done all the hard work now, hasn't he, Afiq? Yep. He's done 2 sectors. Okay, there's good 3 more important corners to go. But at this point, what do? Do you still push, or do you just kind of go, all right, I'm going to try and keep it clean?
No, push. You got to push.
Okay, well, that's it. You heard it from himself. He's got to push. 1 more big corner. This is the important corner. Very easy to make a mistake here, but he looks like he's got to the apex cleanly. Don't run out too wide on the exit.
Ooh, so close. Both tires on the curb. I don't think that it validated. He's still going on. There you go. John McGregor now exiting turn 15, flat out there, fast sweeping right-hander, then up the hill again.
Yeah.
And what will the time be?
Well, as he goes across the line, at the moment it says Chris Chu.
It says Chris Chu, 158 points. What's the time now? 50.5.
You're right. John did not attack that last sector enough, and he lost all the time in the last sector, so he only gets P2. So the guy is fighting for the championship, P1 and P2 at the moment. Oh, that was really, really close.
Yep, John compromises all his push lap in the sector 3 there. He was up in sector 1 and sector 2 by 4/10 combined. So that would have been a 49.
Yeah, so yeah, he'll be disappointed with that, wouldn't he? Because he just really lost all that time in that last sector. So, but he'll look back at that. I mean, you don't. Well, actually, I was going to say you don't get points for qualifying, but you do get points for qualifying. The way we do ERGP, you get 5 points for first, 4 points for second, 3 points for third, 2 for fourth, and 1 point for fifth. So it's very important to finish in the top 5. So Chris Chu extends his championship lead. We should ask to bring the commentators back in.
Yep, we should bring in Ammo.
Yeah, Ammo, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Good to hear you, mate. So we are about to start the race. I'm going to leave it to the commentators, Ammo Haziq and Afiq Farid.
Thanks, Alex, and we're looking forward to this one because the championship battle is quite close at the top of the field, but anything can still happen between these guys who are fighting for the championship from first and fourth even, because Adam Kondralochis is in that mix as well. So, Afiq, what are your thoughts?
Well, Chris Chu has to win. He has to extend his championship lead, though, Ammo.
Right then. So, red lights on the gantry, and where they go out, we are gonna go underway now, and that's a good start there from Chris Chu. Looks like he has actually gotten the whole shot coming to turn 1, so he's got the launch that he needed, and John McGregor then tucks in behind him while his son Jack McGregor is right behind as well. As the field coming out into turn 1, and looks as though I think no collision on the indicators there. I think it's quite clean.
Yeah, it's quite clean. Look at that, the battle for P3 is starting already. Jack McGregor and Ronaldo Julie, though, fighting for P3. Ronaldo Julie, being the best man in that fight, has moved up himself to P3.
Oh, then that was a good start as well for Julie, as you mentioned, because he was being blocked slightly by Jack McGregor, but now he goes around the outside. Can he make it? Oh, he's going to make it into the inside. Jack hits Chris Chu, and inexorably has taken the lead of the race. Somehow, he got nice into the lead of the race there, Afiq.
Yeah, he squeezes himself into Chris Chu and John McGregor there. So P2 and P1 done and dusted in turn 5.
So far, at least, it's only just a quarter lap through. In fact, we're almost going to be halfway through now because we're coming out to sector 2. Through the drop up to turn 9. This is Craig Jones' corner. We can talk about that name a bit later on, but right now we're focusing on the front 4 who have made a beeline for it. They are away from Adri Amit, who's actually up to 5th place, would you believe it? We'll focus on him after this, but for now, we're coming up to the end of lap 1. Renato Julie, who has actually won, I think, a couple of races, maybe just one race before. He might want to do it again this time, but what a way to do so and propel himself into that top 5 in the championship there, Afiq.
Yeah, and what a way to annoy Chris Chu there, who's leading the championship and is now down to P2. So Chris Chu has to find a way. Again, Keith Moore is not racing today, so Chris Chu has to capitalize on the opportunity there and has to win this race today if he wants to extend the championship.
Of course, mind you, we still have drop points on offer, and the fact that Keith has actually competed in the previous 2 rounds, so he can take this drop round. The pressure is on for Chris Chu. If he actually makes a mistake this one and loses points, he will be on the same footing as Keith coming to the final round of the season, as Adri there blocks onto the inside in front of Weir, and he also has Adam Condrolachis for company, as Condrolachis goes to the inside, takes away 6th place from Weir. And Adri then, good defending. He defended a bit late there, but I think that's just about fair, Afiq.
Yeah, that is about fair. Adrian Ahmed, though, where did he come from? I'm not sure where he started, but he started quite back, didn't he, Amo?
Yeah, I think by the qualifying positions, he was just, he's actually P7, so it's not surprising that he got up there. Meanwhile, get back up to the front. Renato Julie then defending as well as Mike Philipsi from the Netherlands gets a slow penalty for cutting the track. So he is at the cusp of the points, about P12, so he's fighting it below there. Now then, any dangerous points on the circuit, you might say, Afi, because the sausage curbs on this track is absolutely massive. You can actually flip cars here if you hit it quite right.
If you hit it quite right and with the right speed, you can flip your car and that will be a race over. However, these CR1 cars are heavy, so even if you hit it, the car will lift up, but it'll still go back down. It won't flip it. As meanwhile, Chris Chu down to P3 and Jack McGregor is pressuring Chris Chu. What happened to Chris Chu?
Yeah, I think the collision might have spooked him a bit because you remember just now that turn 3 complex, turn 5 complex, Renato Julie was just up on the inside and he just tapped him a bit slightly, so he might have lost a bit of momentum. And these cars, of course, have no DRS, so you can't have that luxury of being a second behind. You can press a button to actually reduce that drag to get up to the back of another guy. He might have been spooked slightly to not be able to be up to the back of Jack for now, John McGregor for now at least. But the top 4 have actually broken away from the rest of the field, so at least they can bide the time trying to battle at the front, Afiq.
Yep. And the gap between Jack McGregor and Adrian Ahmed is 5.5 seconds. My goodness. We're only 2 laps in.
Indeed, and it's quite surprising to think that the battle in between the guys from 5th all the way to 10th is not as intense as the guys in front, but yet somehow they managed to actually latch onto the back of themselves and increase the advantage. So maybe the slipstream is happening up for them, as Christopher Ware, who's running in 6th place there, gets a slow penalty as well in front of DeVito, who was one of the newcomers here. Quite a few Americans actually qualified on the leaderboard in that top 30, but only one appeared out, and DeVito is just one of them, as Christopher Ware is now actually gotten more slow track penalties. Hey, this is actually quite a good race so far, at least. Top 4 close to each other about a second, as meanwhile P5, 6, and 7, and 8 as well are quite close, as Christopher Ware is actually attacking Adrian Ahmed. This is going to be interesting how Adrian can actually use his resolve here to defend the guys from behind.
Yep, and being Adrian, I don't think Adrian Ahmed has a lot of pressure in him. Christopher Wire, though, is pressuring Adrian Ahmed, but he has to be cautious of Christopher Wire, because if he continues, putting all his 4 tires off the white line, he will get the slowdown penalty, and that will just compromise his attack for P5.
And you have to remember, if you have a warning towards the end of the lap and you cross the line, you can still get rid of it before the time runs out. You get about 30 seconds. But if that 30 seconds runs out, that's it. You're going to get a drive-through. We've seen already quite a few drivers this season alone getting penalties that wasted their opportunity to get better finishing positions, as Christopher Ware then ducking onto the inside, just like his teammate there, Duck Racing, tried to come through turn 14 and now up to 15 on the inside, but Adri holds his line. He went a bit wide there, but Ware's on the outside. There's going to be a drag race across the start-finish line there, Afiq.
Yep, it's going to be a drag race from the start-finish line, though. Adrian Ahmed keeping his composure. Christopher Wyatt tries to find a way around the outside of turn 15. Not a place where I would overtake Ammo.
Yeah, well, if you are actually alongside... Oh, there's a spin! That's Reynaldo Julie spinning from the lead. What a wasted opportunity for him as well. He could have actually still held on to it, but luckily he's not lost too much time. He spun into the infield and only lost a handful of seconds. He's still about 1.1 seconds behind the top three. But what happened there, Afiq?
Probably just a spin or maybe a tap by John McGregor.
I think McGregor was that far behind. I think he might have actually engaged first gear by accident. That launched the differential into almost a neutral state and locked up the car. So that might have been the reason, but we are not sure exactly until at least we can ask him later on. But for now, at least, he's lost only about a second to the guys up in the top three. So he does it again. He nearly loses it coming up to turn 8. He really needs to calm himself. Hey, Afiq.
Yeah, he does, and probably that first spin cocked up his heated up his rear tires, so he's not gonna get any grip from the rear tires whatsoever. So maybe that's why he lost ground again coming to turn 8. Oh, look, Reynaldo Julie spins again at the back there. Look, he spins it again.
Oh, what's happening here? This lap has not been an absolute good one for Reynaldo Julie. He's having an absolute mare here, and he keeps doing it again through the slow corners. He's gonna get caught by Adrian and the rest of the field who are aiming to get up to higher positions here.
Yeah, just if I may interject, guys, that seems to be part of Reynaldo Julie's MO, doesn't he? I mean, we've seen this from him in the past where he's been quick, but then halfway through the race starts spinning and going down the grid. This is not the first time it's happened to the young Indonesian. So I wonder if it might be gear related, or he just does something that always results in halfway through the race he's having a lot of mistakes.
Or in Malay, we call it Gabra. He just had stage fright at that particular moment in time. It's just so disappointing to see because he was leading so well up to that point, and then the previous lap is just throwing it all away as we now see a battle between Adri, Thomas DeVito, Edward Condorloches, and Christopher Ware. Christopher Ware then goes onto the inside again and takes away the position from DeVito. I saw just now DeVito was actually ahead of this 3. Oh, he gets a bit of a touch from Condorloches. Somehow saves that, and they both collided again. They're not really afraid to show their elbows here, Alex.
No, it's pretty... Definitely got their elbows out. Condorloches is the loser in that as he drops back quite a bit. Yeah, he just needs to calm down and he'll find the pace and he'll be back up with these 3.
Now he has calmed a bit, but look at the car right in front, that red and black car. That is actually Reynaldo Julie. So he's lost so much time from that previous lap that Adri Ahmed has actually closed up to the back of him. So Adri then aiming for the best finish of his young career so far in ERGP. He's had a points finish last time as well in P10 in Silverstone, so that's his first points of the season. But if he gets 4th here, that will actually better that 2 folds, but he has to defend against some of the other guys who are quite seasoned here, and Christopher has been one of them who's been hounding the back of that car since the very beginning of the race there, Afiq.
Yeah, it does, but the gap between Adrian Ahmed and Reynaldo Julie now is down to 2.46, but the thing about Adrian Ahmed is that, look at that, there's 2 cars behind him. Donny Thomas DeVito and Christopher Wyatt is elbowing each other out, and for P6 overall.
And the battle's done all over for that one. So top 3, they're at their own class right now, with 4th place being in no man's land for this particular moment, as the battle between 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8 are still raging on. Meanwhile, up in front, Jack McGregor we're looking at in 3rd place, in front of Chris Chu, fellow Singaporean, and then further up in front, another Singaporean, which happens to also be his father. They're breaking away right now from the rest of the field, about 7 seconds ahead of Reynaldo Julie. So you might say, would there be any team tactics between father and son? And they are part of the same team as well.
Probably, but I doubt that will happen. Chris Chu in a McGregor sandwich, John and Jack sandwiching him, and Chris Chu down there in P2. So Chris Chu has to find a way past John though if he needs to win.
Yep, and Chris Yu, of course, he has the permutations in his favor right now. If he wins this race, he will go into the final round pretty much looking in good shape because the drop point system is still applied. Keith Moe, on the other hand, though, despite missing this round due to sadly an illness, might still be able to contend in that final round, but depends on how well Chris Chu performs in this race, and then we can see his drop points later on. So all to play for then in coming to the final round of the season.
Yep, all to play for, as Thomas DeVito has passed Christopher Wyatt and now chasing down Adrian Ahmed for P5. Thomas DeVito looks like a rocket compared to Adrian Ahmed there. He's trying to find a way past to turn 9, no, backs off a bit. Will he dive down the inside of turn 10? Doesn't look like it, will he? Ooh. And he did. He barges his way through to turn to P5.
So Adri's resilience has been broken for that particular instance by Thomas DeVito, and the American who's actually making his debut here in ERGP fights it up to 5th place, but Adri's not going to give that up. He goes onto the inside, coming through turn 13. Oh, I'll tell you what, this kid can race actually. I never knew that he could race so well, and he defends quite well as well. But unfortunately now, he's sandwiched here between two drivers who just really want to get points off him. And Adri somehow still manages to be up in 6th place and gets a slowdown penalty for his troubles.
And if this battle rages on with 3 minutes to go, Adam Kodrolakis might have a chance to, snatch 5th place from Thomas DeVito, Adrian Ahmed, and Christopher Wire, Emma.
Indeed, and Ware then looking behind him about half a second then between himself and Adam Kodrolakis as Adri ducks out of the slipstream, comes into turn 1, and that's a brilliant move. I think you said that moves cannot be done there, but having said that, look at that, Adri's just lost out. So the move can be done, but the execution has to be right.
Yeah, it has to be right. Look at that, Thomas DeVito playing his cards right and doing the old switcheroo coming to turn 1 there. So he lost the position but gained back because Adrian Ahmed runs a bit wide there.
Manu Satrio gets a slowdown penalty for going off the track, and yes, Adri then just a bit too hot coming to turn 1, but he tries it coming out of turn 5, and he actually touches the side of Thomas DeVito. Now that might be concerning for the rest of the guys. If they have penalty points that might be close to exceeding, they might have to back it up a bit here in the final 3 minutes.
Yep, they have to, and they can't get any penalty points whatsoever, otherwise their race is going to be over. Well, not necessarily over, but you will get penalty and you will move down the order.
And that's what they do not want. If they could at least be up within that top 15 place or top 14, depending on how randomized the order is for race 2, decided by the race officials before the start of race 2, they have to be at least within that top 15. Otherwise, that is going to compromise the entire weekend. As meanwhile, we look further behind with 2 minutes left to go. This is Shami Masindra, who had a brilliant first couple of races. He had a P7 P9 in the first round of the season in Sepang, and after that, he just kept scoring points until. Yeah, in fact, he's had 2 9th place finishes. Now he's in P12, so at least then it will be points for him. But that top 10 looks tantalizingly close, Afiq.
Yeah, it is, and the gap between the top 10 and the guy in P12 is actually 0.3 of a second. Look at that, Shami Masindra tries to find a way around the inside of Mike Lee there, but backs off. Meanwhile, Christopher Wire down the inside of Adrian Ahmed, backs off there. So Thomas DeVito is pulling away from Adrian Ahmed with a 1 second gap there, Emo.
Indeed, and well, I think DeVito made his move just about right, because now Adri is going to be the cork in the bottle again, holding up the rest of the field here. Take nothing away from him, it's still going to be a good finish for the kid. P6, his best finish so far ever in ERGP, but he had to fight for it for all his worth to actually get those points. As further up in front, John McGregor then serenely up in front. He is almost a second ahead of Chris Chu, while Jack McGregor only about 0.7 of a second behind Chris Chu. It looks as though I think the top 3 is quite settled, I think.
Yeah, it's quite settled unless Chris Chu makes a mistake and Jack McGregor capitalizes on it. However, though, John McGregor, 44 seconds remaining. I think there will be one more lap, Emma.
Indeed, there will be, because by the time they cross the line, they would have at least about 15 seconds left on the clock, because they're in the final sector now. So it is one more lap to go, and hopefully they have enough fuel. We've had cases of leaders running out of fuel on the last lap of the race. Remember, take your mind back to last year in Hungaroring, where Hayden Miller and his father Grant, they were in the top 3 positions, with Hayden leading until he ran out of fuel on the very last lap because he just miscalculated it. So if they got that calculation just about right, they could at least safely negotiate this final lap. As we look at Chris Chu on the inside there, that very interesting camera angle. It looks as though we're underneath a toaster. I think it looks like a toaster underneath there.
Yep, 1 lap remaining. There you go. Let's go back to the battle between Christopher Wire and Adrian Ahmed. Oh, look at that. Round the outside, Christopher Wire goes. Adrian Ahmed dives on around the outside, though. Defends his position from Adrian Ahmed, though, Emo.
He just chops across his nose there, and I think Christopher Ware may not be happy with that one, but he's got the run on Adrian coming to turn 1. Now, will there be an overtaking maneuver in turn 1 completed? Oh, Adrian hangs around the outside. That's brave. That had to have full trust with the other guy to actually make that maneuver done. And Adrian, to his credit, has actually defended that position quite well, while Ware, he gave the position up just a bit easily. He could have actually forced the issue, but he kept it safe so that they will both be still in the race. As meanwhile, up in front, McGregor then coming to the final sector, looking very good.
Yeah, looking very good indeed. Look at that, coming to turn 8 and has a 0.6 of a second gap to Chris Chu. Chris Chu, the gap last lap was a 1 second gap. Now it's down to 7 tenths. He can get close, but I think it's a little too late, Amo.
Yeah, too little too late for Christian to make any inroads to the leader, because we're coming out to the final sector now. No overtaking maneuvers as per yet. He could dive one onto the inside here, but unfortunately, he's way too far behind. So Chris, being the thinking man that he is, he will try not to do anything silly, because he's got 20 valuable points here for second place. That adds up to his championship. So he's thinking about the end game here, not about the immediate gains. As he comes out now to the final corner, then John McGregor out through turn 14 and now 15. This will be an invaluable victory. This will be the second victory of the season for John. In fact, first victory of the season. He hasn't had a win yet this season. So McGregor then, with a well-deserved win, up across the crest, onto the start-finish line now. And he will take victory here in race 1 for the copper class. Well done there to John McGregor. Second place will be Christian. Third will be Jack McGregor. Now it's going to be in that final few positions on the top 10. It looks as though I think Adri might have held off Christopher Ware for 6th place. What a brilliant finish for the young kid, 8 years old, and he's already gotten his best finish of the season in ERGP. And across the line, the rest of the field, Julie with a disappointing 4th place, I would say, because he led at one point. 5th is Thomas DeVito, 6th Adri, 7th is Christopher Ware, 8th Admiral Kadri Lodges, 9th is Al Kadri, and 10th is Ashraf Nasruddin. So that's your top 10 for this race. And Alex, over to you then if we have any interviews.
All right, so we got John McGregor on the phone. How are you, mate? Interesting camera angle. How was that?
Okay. Yeah, that was interesting race. Myself and Chris got a little bit of time at the start there, but all came good in the end, I suppose.
Yeah, no, it was good. No, first race in Global Edition 8, so that would be a bit better for the championship as well. You close the gap to Chris.
Yeah, I didn't have a very good last round, so it's good to be competing near the front.
Okay, well, congratulations on that. I'll let you get ready for race 2. It's top 15 reversed, so you definitely got your work cut out for race 2.
Okay, cheers. Bye for now.
So there's the championship positions.
Sorry, that's the race leaderboard just now. So John McGregor wins race 1 of the copper class, followed up by Chris Chu and Jack McGregor, son of John McGregor, in P3, and Renato Juli in a disappointing 4th, who was leading the race, but as Alex pointed out, he'll always finds a way to make some mistakes, which is very disappointing, because I believe that he has the potential to win, but I guess he succumbed to the pressure, Alex.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but another race to go, right? And it's a reverse grid race, which will make it interesting. The reverse grid races are always fun, because you got the faster cars in the back or the middle of the pack, and they just try to make their way forward. So that should make it for we always see a lot of incidents in race 2s when we do reverse grid races like this. So we're just waiting for the server to start up, and we will come back. As the cars come into the garage, I can see them lining up on the grid already. So let's go back to the on-track action. And top 15 reversed. So I think that's Satrio on pole, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Armando Satrio on pole, if I'm not mistaken.
So let's see how he does in the first position, because it can be quite daunting, isn't it? Taking the start in the lead when you've not done it before.
Yep, it can be quite daunting, especially knowing that you're at the front of the pack, everyone is right behind you, and they have all the opportunity to overtake you coming into turn 1.
Yeah. All right. So my name's Alex Young. I'm Mohammed Afiq next to me, and Amo, over to you.
Thanks, Alex. Now then, we're gonna hear whether or not this is gonna be a good start for Emmanuel Satrio, and beside him is Michael Lee. And the lights go out here for race 2, and it looks like it's a good start then for Satrio. So Positors have had good starts for the last 2 rounds, but unfortunately, that time round, it looks as though the leader has actually been taken over by... No, in fact, Satrio is still in the lead, so I thought Satrio was in the blue car. But Romano Satrio then takes the whole shot coming through turn 1, with the rest of the field then swarming around the outside, onto the outside of the circuit. But I think it looks as though it's pretty much clean there, Afiq.
Yeah, the biggest winner there is Renato Juli, though. Climbs his way up to P5 after post. Oh, we have a spinner there at the back there. It might be John Rick Cascon, or it's not John Rick Cascon, it's probably Reynolds Cruz there. Will go on board to Nasrul Ashraf down the inside. This goes the black car. And we have a spinner as well.
Yeah, man, that looks like Satrio. So Satrio has actually dropped it from the lead, and it looks as though these cars, despite having traction control, are actually very susceptible to actually the odd spin in here and there. And we already saw a couple of guys losing it, including Ko at the back, and now Satrio. So the pole sitter for race 2 has been dropped all the way. And meanwhile, up in front, Shami Masindra leading a race for the first time ever in ERGP.
Leading the race for the first time ever in ERGP, but look at that, Ronaldo Julie, where did he come from? Up to P2 in race 2 and trying to find a way past Shami Masindra for P1.
Oh, Julie then back with vengeance and immediately trashed the storm to the lead of the race. He goes onto the inside up to turn 13, and there you go. He leads for the second time this weekend, and this time though he might want to actually convert it to the win, as meanwhile Ozer Al-Qadri has actually been spun around. So the debutant as well for this championship, and he's reversing into yet another driver then. Oh, luckily there not many casualties apart from just a couple of drivers spinning, but it's all kicking off here in race 2 there, Afiq.
Yeah, we had a more interesting start in race 2 compared to race 1. Ronaldo Julie being the biggest winner in lap 1 now. And look at that, Shami Masindra right on the back of Ronaldo Julie, tries to find a way. Look at that, swerving right, left. Will he dive down inside of turn 1? I don't think he will, Amo.
Well, Shami is quite a canny little driver himself. He will try. Oh, actually, never mind. I would say he will try to hold back a bit, but there he goes. He goes onto the lead of the race, but Reynaldo fights back. Julie then goes onto the inside, coming out to turn 4. Oh, tell you what, these guys are actually going to go at it for the win, because they're going to go for not only the first wins ever, first win of the season for Julie, but first win ever for Shami Masindra. So really then, all to play for between these two.
All to play for these two. They haven't had a win, and it's a Malaysian versus Indonesian battle here for P1, which is very interesting. This is interesting because, oh, look at that. Chris Tudor down the inside and still stuck in P7 though, Amo.
Yeah, he hasn't made much progress from the start of the race, but likewise, John McGregor as well is just right behind him. So the two podium sitters from that first race are just struggling to get through the pack. Jack McGregor likewise only just up to the back of Adam Condologis. So slowly but surely they're making their way up to the front of the grid, but they take nothing away then from the guys in front right now. Reynaldo Julia and Shami Masindra, they are pulling away from Andrew Lowe. 1.4 seconds that time round through sector 2. So if they can take the battle this hard between these much slower drivers, proverbially, they might actually lose sight of the first two.
Yeah, and Adam Condologis around the outside as Jack McGregor dives down the inside. Oh, Adam Condologis dives down the inside of Arthur Lowe, so he moves himself up to P3. Meanwhile, Jack McGregor moves up to P4.
Sorry, I thought Andrew Lowe. Arthur Lowe. So Condologis then makes a very good move coming up to turn 13, and he leaves the rest of the field to actually deal with Arthur. So he can make a beeline for it as, oh, someone going wide there. That might have been Chris Chu. Yeah, Chris Chu trying to get a very wide line coming out of turn 15 to get a clear run onto the start-finish straight. Arthur then blocking the rest of the field. This is going to be quite dicey. If they come out to turn 1, who's going to be the bravest of them all to break much later, Afiq?
It might be Nasrul Ashraf though. Look at that, down the inside. 2 wide coming to turn 1. 3 wide coming to turn 1. Look at that, Nasrul Ashraf squeezes his way into P5 overall. But look at that, the battle is not over yet, Amo.
It is not over yet. Coming up to turn 3. Oh, that's not gonna go. Oh, I'll tell you what, everyone's actually been quite conservative. Normally in copper class we see a lot of people going crazy. Yes, okay, that time around you see that one of the guys behind that looks like DeVito hitting the back of Cruz, but they seem to be less crazy than before, so that's a good sign that they actually now are prioritizing getting points and finishing the race, as big lockouts for a couple of drivers right there. Nasrul Ashraf then getting in front of Arthur Lowe, so that's another guy being disposed of for the sake of getting more points in the top 10.
Yeah, Arthur Lowe, I thought he was going to move around the inside of turn 7. Look at that, Nasrul Ashraf runs wide coming into turn 8, and he has to be careful though. He can't get any track limit warning, otherwise he has to slow down his car, and that will just compromise his pull away from Arthur Lowe. As Jack McGregor though, let's look at him. 0.2 of a second behind Adam Condologis.
Yeah, behind Adam Condro just by a couple of tenths, but tell you what, Condro is actually having the best season he's ever had in the Global Edition. Best result so far at least was 3rd place last time out in the first round in Sepang, so he's on for a good haul of points here if he actually could keep it in the podium, Afiq.
Yeah, he can, and he has to keep it on the podium if you want to finish this on the podium. Meanwhile, let's go back to battle between Arthur Lowe that runs wide, goes Arthur Lowe. John McGregor moves up, Christopher Wire moves up, and Chris Chu moves up from Arthur Lowe. So I think he had a very bad exit coming out of turn 14 ammo, but he's not giving up. The gap is still 2 seconds is what separates them. We have 9 minutes to go.
That might seem a bit like a formality there, Afi, because he is dropping like a stone right now, and Thomas DeVito, who got points in that first race as well, is right up his rear as Condor Aloysius hits the back of Shami Masindra. Now, what happened to Masindra? Because he dropped a lot of time to Julie as Condor now barges his way up to second place. And, well, I think Shami might have had a mistake somewhere that he lost so much time to Renato Julie. There's no way Julie would drop the lead now. He's so far ahead. I mean, I could be mistaken here and corrected, but he could not lose the win from here as now Jack McGregor moves his way up to second place.
Yeah, moves up his way into second place. Look at that. Barging his way through, barging their way through. Nasrul Ashraf and Adam Kajolokis there. And Jack McGregor now has moved up into P2 and will look like he'll be pulling away from these three if they keep battling it up with one another.
Indeed, and McGregor then will set his sights to the back of Renato Julie about 5.1 seconds ahead. He'll have to at least claw in by around what? 1.5 seconds per lap to get at least to the back of Renato Julie, and with still time to spare to get a move for the lead. So catching is one thing, but overtaking is another. But Jack McGregor then, with all his driving qualities, I would say he might be the guy to do that job.
Yep, let's hope Renato Julie doesn't succumb to pressure. He did it just now around this time in race 1. Let's hope he doesn't do it again. It'll be a heartbreaking day for Renato Julie in corporate class.
Indeed, it would be. Now, Jack McGregor in second place, cleared his way from Shami Masindra, who I'm surprised he actually manages to hold on to third place because he was under severe pressure from Nasrul Ashraf. But Ashraf got to the inside. Oh, Shami then tries to actually budge onto from the outside, trying to defend. But Nasrul already had the line already coming through turn 15 that time, so he's lost the podium. He has to defend now for all his worth to be up in that top 5, but it looks as though it's going to be a fruitless task because there's plenty of other drivers right behind him who are looking very interested to actually take his position away.
Yeah, they're just rubbing their palms, be like John McGregor. Oh, Shami Masindra runs wide. John McGregor moves up to P4, and now is chasing down Nasrul Ashraf. So John McGregor, there after a dreadful start, is now up to P4. Looks like he's been chasing down to P5. Meanwhile, look at that, the battle for P5 ammo.
Yeah, further behind from P5 there, Chris Chu's actually come out to the back of Shami Masindra, so he is actually cleared Chris Ware and Thomas DeVito, but he's still got both of them for company as they come up to turn 5. Oh, that would not do. That's 3 wide almost as Christopher Ware's on the outside. 3-way coming through the corner. That's actually amazing how they both can, all 3 of them can still have drive to get out of there and still be side by side. But it looks as though the guy in the middle, Chris Chu, has the better run among all 3 of them and takes away 6th place. All the while then DeVito and Ware are still fighting for position as up in front Masindra has actually dropped it, and now he's going to be swamped by the 3 of them.
Look at that, Thomas DeVito down the inside though. Look at that, Christopher Wire around the outside. 3 wide coming to turn 9. You don't see that every day. Not in F1, definitely not in ERGP, but this is the first ammo.
Well, in ERGP we've had that quite often. In fact, I think at most we have 4 wide coming through some corners, but this is like par for the course, to be honest. I think it is actually quite common to see guys, especially in the beginner classes, to actually race each other very hard. As Masindra then loses another position to Condor Aloysius, he tried to switch back onto the inside, but unfortunately that proved to be a bridge too far for him as Renato Julie gets a slowdown penalty up in front. So that might be a concern for Julie if he actually can't get rid of that penalty in time. 5.5 minutes left to go. He's still in the clear. 4.2 seconds is quite a big advantage if you think about it. But if he starts looking at the rear view mirrors and start thinking about the guy that's actually chasing him, he might actually just fluff his lines again.
It might be, and we've been in this position before in the last race, didn't we? We have seen it before. Let's hope he doesn't do it again.
Yep, that's for not just hoping from us, but actually for his sake and for whoever is actually supporting him. He might just drop it. Still quite perplexed though. How on earth did he drop in that first race? And I think Alex wanted to have a word on that.
Yeah, so it'll be quite interesting. I mean, like you said, Renato Julie, let's hope he holds on. Whoa, and there's a big accident there behind John McGregor. Looks like
Chris Chu.
It's Chris Chu.
Wow, Chris Chu, championship leader. I was just saying it's looking very good for John McGregor because he's in front of Chris Chu. Now looks even better for John McGregor. This is going to put him right up in the championship hunt for the championship because Chris Chu's not having a good race too at the moment. there is John McGregor right now in P3. This is good for him. He's going to finish first and third if he can hold on to third right now, and it looks quite good at the moment. That's really going to put him into the hunt for the championship.
Indeed, he would. In fact, coming into this round, he was only 7 points behind anyway. So, really, then, this has put a spanner into the works for Chris Chu in his hunt for the championship with their primary challenger, happens to be also a kid, out for this round. This is not this is not the race that he wanted. He wanted to build on the advantage with the amount of points that he had coming into this round and solidify it into this race. But unfortunately, it looks as though that has gone up in smoke in race 2 at least. So he might look forward to the final round as Thomas DeVito then goes on to the inside of Condrolochis and takes away 5th place from him. Alex, not the race 2 that Chris Chu wanted.
No, not at all. This might be his drop round because he had some good points in round 1, round 2, but here in round 3. Not going so well, so maybe he'll drop this round. But, having said that, 3 minutes ago, there's not enough time really to get back up to the top 5. But yeah, so there he is, Chris Chu right now in P10. He might make 1 or 2 places, but I think that'll be it for race 2. But back at the front, we'll see a very popular victory from Ronaldo Giulia if he can just hold on for another, 2 more laps to take his first win of Global Edition 8.
2 or maybe 2 laps at best, because we did reach out to lap 9 that time around. So in race 1 we actually managed to click it over during the final few seconds. So really then, Ronaldo Giulia at best 1.5 laps left to go here to hold on for what could be said is a very well-deserved win after so much trials and tribulations that you got up to this point, guys.
Yeah, I might look at that Jack McGregor closing the gap with Ronaldo Giulia, but is it far little too late for Jack McGregor?
Yeah, and also just to mention, he's got an E-Racing GP shirt because he's won races in E-Racing GP before. Anyone that wins a race, I think, is it a championship or a race? I think it's a race, gets an ERGP t-shirt, so good to see that on him.
Yeah, it's a race winner shirt and a championship winner shirt. So there's 2 variations of that brought to you by Life, who will make very good shirts for us. As now then, Jack McGregor, I did say just now, he could be the man to do the job to claw in a 4-second deficit to the guy in front, but it looks as though it may be a bridge too far, as he might just have to settle for second position. Meanwhile, behind him, his father Jack, only about 1.9 seconds behind. Now, will Jack give way to John to benefit him in the championship, guys?
That's a good question. I'm going to say no. I think Jack's going to be like, no, I'll take the points myself. I don't know if I don't think John will ask his son to move aside because, it's been a very good day anyway for him.
Yep, 1 lap remaining by Ronaldo Giulia. Ronaldo Giulia has only 1 lap to bring the car home and win his first event in ERGP Global Edition.
Yeah. Just before we finish that lap with him, just want to look back at this battle here for 6th position between Adam Condrolochis and Christopher Weir. This is the closest battle we have on track at the moment, with 1 lap to go.
Yep, 1 lap to go here. The action has petered out a bit slightly after the rather chaotic first few laps, but they kept it quite controlled apart from a couple of spins here and there, including majorly for Chris Chu, who has now recovered up to P9, but that's not what he wanted in terms of his championship charge. So really then, his race 2 have not been that good. Condrolochis hits the back of DeVito there. As I was saying, Chris Chu hasn't had a good second race 2s in the past couple of rounds, so really that's his only Achilles heel right now. He needs to work on that race 2 performance in order to actually be more solid in the championship fight.
Oh, look at that, Ronaldo Giulia locking up, coming into turn 10. Has to get the job done. 35 seconds remaining. Get it done, son. Win your first race in ERGP. Make yourself proud. Celebrate yourself tonight.
Yeah, if he's fasting, then he'll have a grand old breaking fast festival if he were to win this. 20 seconds left to go here. I think he might just have enough time. Yep, he could back it off slightly with the 3-second advantage that he had in front of Jack McGregor. Yep, this is definitely the final lap. So coming out of the final corner, turn 15 then, Ronaldo Giulia, after the trials and tribulations of the past few global editions, has finally cracked the egg. He will now cross the line and become a winner in ERGP. What a way to do so. 4 seconds ahead of Jack McGregor, who will be happy with his day's work. a second place in this race will do his championship quite a lot of good. Third place is Father Jack. Fourth is Nasser Ashraf. Nasruddin. Fifth is Thomas DeVito. Sixth, Andrew Condolochis. Seventh, Chris Ware. Eighth is Cruz. Ninth, Chris Chu. And 10th is John Rick Casson, I think that's how you pronounce it. Oh, that was a drag race across the line. Chris Chu just lost it out there to P8. But wow, what a good finish there for Renato Giulli. His first win of the season.
Yeah, great win there. We don't have him on Zoom, so we can't talk to him at the moment. But he'll be pretty pleased with that. There is the standings, which you just read out so nicely for us, Amo. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that's going to be very close to the championship right now. John McGregor, then P3, has closed the gap to Chris Chu, who finished P9. So those two are going to be neck and neck going into round 4. And of course, Keith Moe, who was unable to come in today because he was ill, he'll drop points from this round, and I think he'll still be in the fight for the championship, to be honest. Okay, well that is it. I think that's the copper class pretty much done now. And thanks very much, Amo. We'll be back in a while with the bronze class. Let's see, what time is it now? It's 1:45. Yeah, we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes with the bronze class. That was copper, and this is E-Racing GP. We'll be back very soon.
Things to be aware of organizing E-Racing Championship without race room. First, no automated leaderboard would always be labor intensive. Elimination round would be the only way to filter the winners. Having the participants adhering to the schedule would be a huge test. We need to know the task will get bigger when participants increases. Time consuming. Organizing E-Racing Championship without race room, it's all need run manually to take down the participants and eliminate them from first round group to final round group. Because it is manual human labor, there bound to be human error. Manual human labor would have a price tag for the man hours involved. New participants would never have chance. The E-Racing clubs in the world will send their best racers to participate the race. But that means your championship exposure is just limited to the E-Racing clubs. Why choose race room? R3E official championship have fully automated leaderboard. Participants can log in anytime to leave the fastest lap time within the qualifying period. Each of the racers already have their ranks with race room. Next, save time. You can have unlimited amounts of participants in a super short time to qualifying them to final race. Race room can cover unlimited amount of participants. We have a full automated esports ecosystem from qualifying leaderboard to broadcast AI. Besides, race room's free contents lets everyone can participate to the race.
Hi, welcome back. My name's Alex Young, and here with me is Muhammad Afiq, and this is E-Racing GP, as you can see. Global Edition 8, we've just had the Copper class, our first round of races so far, and now we've got the Bronze class coming up. Bronze class, slightly faster drivers in Formula 3 cars. I love this division. This class always has exciting races, doesn't it?
Well, round 1, round 2, probably the most exciting race I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah, we see lots of slipstreaming battles. The reverse grid, obviously, in race 2 obviously helps. Let's have a look at the championship table so far for bronze.
Now look at that, Yang Ming with a 50 point, with leading the championship with 50 points, followed by Mohamed Zikri is 5 points behind, and Chester Lam with 5 points behind Mohamed Zikri. So
Yeah.
it can be very interesting though, Chester Lam and Mohamed Zikri. The top 4 definitely has a chance to win the championship today, followed by Cheok Long Lee in P5, Jaden Ng in P6, Mohamed Hamdani racing with FSA Racing in P7, Kelvin Pao in P8, Edward Wong in P9, and running up your top 10 is Sharik Zulkarnain with 20 points.
Really, actually, anyone from the top 5 can still win this championship with 2 more rounds to go. On to the teams championship, and you can see Stratos Motorsports there with a big lead over the Academy. They are the reigning champions, is Stratos, and looks hard pressed to see who can catch them at this point. On to the nation standings, again Malaysia there with a big lead there, followed by Singapore, Philippines, Hong Kong, and Australia round out the top 5. Okay, let's try and see some of the on-track action, see where we're going right now. Okay, let's go on board with Zikri right now. There is Mohamed Zikri, Team Racing Line, one of the more known, well-known Malaysian teams, shall we say. So Zikri, he's never won a championship, has he, in E-Racing GP? He's been in bronze a few seasons now. We've seen him run at the front. We've seen him win races. But this is the closest I think we've seen him get. He's second in the championship right now. He's fighting against Yang Ming Chu, another fellow Malaysian who's leading the championship at the moment. Now, Yang Ming has won the championship. He won the Copper class a couple editions ago. But Zikri right now, I know how much he wants it. He's been practicing, been putting in the hours, and I have a feeling actually that he'll be the man to beat today.
Maybe. And look at that, his P2, 0.02 of a second behind Dave Smart there. And Zikri looks like he can win the race today.
Yeah, it looks very determined, doesn't he? Okay, onto the track right now. We are at Portimao, and 15 corners, as you can see there, clockwise track. You can see how it's broken up to sectors. Red sector is sector 1, blue is sector 2, and the yellow is sector 3. Overtaking opportunities, obviously turn 3, Lagos. Turn 5 is possible. Also, turn 8, really, I think. You can kind of dive down the inside there as well, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, into there. And 4.6 kilometers, big elevation changes. What do you like about this track?
Elevation changes. Honestly, there's a lot of it. Start, finish straight, coming to turn 8, exiting turn 8, coming to turn 10, exiting turn 11. So elevation changes in Portimao is plenty.
Let's see if we can ride on board with someone, see who else is out there. Dave Smart right now is quick as a ball. Great to see him up there. This is the first time I've seen him heading the leaderboard. Ooh, lovely black Motorola outfit.
With the flames.
Yeah, with the flames. I really like that livery. It's very cool. We are obviously driving Formula 3 cars here, which is great in racing, great fun car to drive. Let's see where the championship leader is. There is a championship leader right now in the Festina F3 car. He'll be one to beat as well. Let's see if we can find him on Zoom later on, maybe if he's around. But yeah, quite an impressive young man. Only 13 years old.
13.
Yeah, but yeah, he's shows a lot of natural talent, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does. And Yang Ming won copper last season, moved up to bronze, and is leading the championship in bronze.
Yeah,
impressive.
I think he won copper 2 seasons ago. I think last season he finished 2nd or 3rd, so he'll want to go one better. But he'll have some stiff competition from Chester Lam and of course Zikri. Let's see who else is out there right now. Actually, do you want to ride on board Yang Ming since he starts a lap? Take us through this lap.
Alright then, coming up the hill off the start finish straight goes Yang Ming Chu, and crossing the line out as he starts his lap time. And start finish straight, elevation change. It's like you're going up on Genting Highlands and you're going down again. That's how it feels like. Down into turn 1, the fast sweeping right-hander, and then another fast sweeping right-hander off turn 2. Before you brake hard coming into turn 3 of Lagos there, 2nd gear. in 80 kilometers per hour, flat out through turn 4, which is a no-name corner, but we'll give it a name soon if anything happens, and blast down the straight. So there's there's only 2 straights in Portimao as he breaks on the 100-meter board, 75-meter board coming into turn 5, which is Store VIP. On the power again, a little bit wide there by Yang Ming though. Then coming into turn 6 before flattening out in turn 7. You can't flat out in the CR1 as you see just now, but now down into the second gear. A little bit of oversteering there coming out of Samsung. Another downhill section there, and this is my favorite corner. Fast, flat out, left-hander before you brake hard into the blinding corners of turn 10 and coming down the hill of turn 11. Elevation changes is plentiful here. That's what I love about Portimao. Look at that. Up the hill, down the hill, up the hill, down the hill. It's like you're riding on a roller coaster. And if you're driving here in real life, that's what makes it interesting. Coming out of turn 13 though goes Yang Michu before you have to hug the apex on the inside and have to be precise on the exit so that it won't compromise your racing line coming into turn 15, which is mostly a flat out right-hander, a fast sweeping flat out right-hander there. Yang Michu will ride on board the hill one more time before you cross the line, and that's a lot of Portimao.
Thank you. As he goes across the start-finish line, does he go quick as a 4? Yeah, not quite. Maybe that lap was overruled, but they're P6 at the moment. Quick as a 4 right now is actually Nazir Azman, also from Team Racing Line, and he's quick as the moment. Wow, so there he is in the inside there, looking very chilled, very calm. So Nazir has not really been a factor in the championship this year, although we've seen him quick. Been a bit unlucky, hasn't he?
Yeah, been a bit unlucky. I think Silverstone was his unluckiest race in this season, as he has the pace. He definitely has the pace. It's just that luck hasn't been on his side at the moment.
Yeah, and and some would argue there's no such thing as luck. Sometimes you just have to put yourself in the position to not tempt the gods. And anyway, you can get some bad luck. Look, there he is, smiling. Maybe he's listening to our commentary. Give us a wave if you are, Nazir. But yes, he's quickest at the moment, not by much, only by a little bit, from Dave Smart. Dave Smart, they're there again in the flame-nosed car from New Zealand. I'd be keen to watch, see how he does. Third position there from Singapore, Danish Aram. We know how quick this driver is. He's a very quick driver. He's in the pit lane already. He looks confident. He doesn't need any more testing. He'll be a factor today as well, of course. Zikri there, and look at that, he's in 4th position, he's there as well. Look, the top 5 cars, all the way down to Kelvin Power right now, are all within, what's that? 2/10. That's how close it is. Kelvin Power now coming out the pit lane. Maybe to do a couple more qualifying runs. Oof, drivers going across the white line. We don't actually penalize drivers going across the white line because it's not a safety issue on a sim race, but obviously in the real world, if you cross that white line on entry and pit exit, you will get disqualified. But Kelvin Powell there, another driver that's been very quick, actually did a really good job in the endurance edition last week. First time racing in ACC, and looked quite nice and quick, big step up. And I think racing in that championship, in that race, has given him the confidence because to only be a 10th and a half off quickest lap time bodes well for today.
Yeah, and shared the car with Wicked Lau in the number 696 JSR car, who started in P6, but it was very unfortunate for them as Wicked's wheel got disconnected halfway through the race, and they were leading in Pro-Am though. However, because of that disconnecting wheel, he had to go into the pits, fix the wheel, and then drop down all the way to dead last in Pro-Am.
Yeah, dead last. I think they recovered a bit, but not many points for them last week. Anyway, that's the Endurance Edition. That's done and dusted. Round 1 done and dusted. We are focusing on Global Edition. This is the bronze class. And bronze class is all about these, these are actually quite experienced drivers, aren't they? But they just maybe not as, they're not quite as finesse as the guys we see coming up in silver and gold. But they're very experienced, all have day jobs and go to school. Good drivers. And we have a packed field of drivers as well, so we often see quite a bit of carnage.
Yep, indeed. And Yang Ming though, his gap, well, it's a little bit strange because Yang Ming's is in P4. However, it shows that his gap between him and Nazir Azman, the leader at the moment, is a 1 second gap, so it's very strange, probably just a timetable glitch. But meanwhile though, Yang Ming,
You are right, because the sectors have been lining up as purple, which means fastest of all. And look at him right now. Sector 1 looks purple again. I do wonder if there's a timing glitch, because normally he's right up there. And we keep seeing purple sectors whenever we see him, but his best time's still 1 second off. Unless, of course, he's getting invalidated laps somewhere.
Yeah, so Yang Ming's best lap is a 39.2 according to the timing board.
Oops, where's the timing board gone?
Yeah,
Oh, that's it, practice over.
it is practice over. Which is very strange, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, I hope it's just practice over and we're switching to qualifying and it's not, for example,
Affecting his lap time.
yeah, or a server crash. It does happen. That is the beauty and excitement of online racing. Sometimes we do have server crashes. We'll ride on board. Well, there's Yang Ming at the moment. Let's see who else is out there. Nazir Azman. Sir Danish Aram. Shall we ride on board with him? He's the first driver on track at the moment. And this is him crossing the line. We'll bring in Amo Hazik at this point. Amo, are you there? No, he's not there. All right, we'll go for a lap right now. Here's Danish Aram right now, starting a lap at the very beginning of qualifying.
Yep, there you go. So coming into turn 1, the fast whipping dropped 2 gears down from the 6th gear up to 4th gear, down to 4th gear, sorry, and then brake hard for Lagos. Turn 3 that into 2nd gear, and it's a flat out left-hander there. Portimao definitely has the same characteristics. Some of the corners has the same characteristics, but they're very fun to do. That's what makes Portimao interesting. Even in F1, you can see everyone loves Portimao, but not many people like it. Not many people, are fond of it. That's the thing.
Yep. Okay, so halfway through the lap, he's purple in sector 1. Not surprised, he was the first car out on track, so he's quickest so far. And when you're the first guy out, that's not too hard to do. But the lap is looking quite good. We know he'll be a factor in qualifying today. Sector 2, he's purple through there as well, and it looks like a clean lap so far into the final sector, and we've got a few more to go. Let's see how he goes. Comes through this last few corners right now. We've seen him win. He finished second, I think, in Copper, behind Yang Ming Chu two championships ago. We have seen him quick, but will today be the day he takes a win?
Maybe.
Okay.
In P3 in practice ended in P3 for him just now, and he's not that far from Nazir Asman though. Look at that. So Danish Afram crosses a line or up the hill. What will his time be? His time will be 37.7.
Okay, quickest at the moment. I just want us to focus on another guy as these lap times come through. Sheng Yuan has not started his lap. I just want to... Is that him starting the lap?
Yeah, he's just starting the lap.
Yeah, that can't be him though, can it? I'm not sure we're on the right car. But Sheng Yuan's very interesting because he normally races with the keyboard and mouse. I don't know if he's got a steering wheel yet, but we normally see him with a keyboard and mouse.
That's okay. I know you guys just now, but forgot to untoggle mute. Yeah, there's Shang Yuan, and in fact, that's the rig that he got from Leona Chin.
Cool. So has he got a steering wheel now?
Yes, he does.
Oh, good to see him out there. Well, let's see how he does. But let's go back to the front because Mohammed Zikri's gone quickest.
Yeah, that's crucial then because Zikri hasn't had a pole position so far. He has come second twice in qualifying. First time to Yan Ming, and the second time he came behind Chou Long Li. So Long Li's not here, so he has to only worry about... Oh, no, actually, he is here. Yes, yeah. I missed out because I saw his name at the bottom of the timing sheets for a second, so he's up to second. So now then, battle on between these two. And let's not forget Yan Ming Chu, who's the other one who's quite fast in qualifying as well. So really then, three-way battle for pole position unless somebody could just spring a surprise and upset the apple cart.
I think we're missing one person, Amo. It's not Chot Long Li. You got it wrong. It's another Hong Kong.
Chester Lam.
Chester Lam, correct, Alex.
Yeah, but Chou Long Li's up there as well. I think he's P6 or 7 in the championship. Z Challenger racing team from Hong Kong. But yes, you're right. Chester's not here, so I think Chester's going to drop points for... This will be his drop points round.
Indeed. And Chot Long Li, though, last round in Silverstone, blown us away. And we asked ourselves, is he in the right category in bronze, though?
Oh, he's restarted again.
Restarted again. And
so let's see where's Yang Ming. There's Yang Ming. He's halfway through the lap. Not a great sector 1 from him. Let's go back to Mohammed Zikri. Zikri looks like he might be on a good lap. Just enough time. Not much time left to go. goes across the last corner right now. His fastest lap so far is a 37.444. He's finishing a lap, isn't he? Or is he starting a lap?
He's starting a lap.
He's starting a lap. Okay.
Is there enough time though?
No, there's not enough time. So that's it. He's not going to go any quicker. Let's go back to Yang Ming Chu, because Yang Ming right now, he's on a lap, but nah, look at that. Sector 1, Sector 2 doesn't look good, very good.
Yeah, he's backing off as well. Yang Ming Chut Long Li duo has started his lap, and
He's just started a lap. This is going to be tight for him as well to cross the line. See who else is out there. Danish Aram there. Ooh, he's on a faster run. Green in Sector 1, green in Sector 2. No purples. Don't think this is good enough for the front row, but this should be able to get him up to P3.
yep, he'll be starting on the second row of the grid. So he didn't change grid slots, but he moved
Let's
up a
see.
grid position, but he's not changing rows. Danish Ahram crosses the line. What will his lap time be?
Yep, P3.
Yep, P3. There you go. Alex was right.
There we go, P3. Let's see who else is out there. Dave Smart out there. Oh, not on a great lap. Looks like it's going to be finished. I don't think see anyone else out there on good laps. Kelvin Powell's on a decent lap as well. This will improve for him, I think. He'll come across the line. Won't be good enough for pole position, but will improve. There he goes, up to P5. So good lap there by Kelvin Powell. But Mohammed Zikri there with pole position at the moment. This is exactly what he needs. He's second in the championship right now. We talked about him. Look, there he is. Focus. Please don't pick your nose, dude. We are
You're
watching
live.
We're live. There we go. But Ziki there looks nice and calm as he gets ready. So what are they doing at this point? They'll be putting race fuel and getting ready for that?
I'm not qualified to do it. I'm not.
You don't do any race fuel.
I don't do any race
Ammo.
room.
So they got just getting their tire wears ×2. Do they have to worry about much today?
Not so much actually, because ×2, it's just pretty much like Pirelli in the early stages of its development of the tires, where it was just degrading, but not so much. Okay, I know, scratch that. It's about 2013 level tires, not 2011. 11 it just dropped off completely. That's ×4. So tires are not a worry. Fuel, they might have to actually add on by at least a factor of another 2, I think, because they do not want to run out of fuel in this race. Now, especially the fact that these Formula 3 cars are so light and fast.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so we've got 40 seconds before the race starts. They're all teleporting to the pits. Have to say a big thank you to our sponsors. Of course, Race Room, fantastic sim, one of the best sim racing games in the world, maybe the best even. Of course, X Park, that's where a big long-time sponsor of ourselves. Of course, Motorsport Playground will do those beautiful wraps of real-life race cars. And of course, Life will make the shirts. So great to have us on board, have him on board. Yeah, back to the commentary. Amo, you want to take it away?
Indeed, I would. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, guys. So, we are ready then for race 1 on what could be said is a highly anticipated race in the bronze class. The 4 main contenders are up in front as we now go green here in Portimao. And it looks as though Zikri has actually gotten the whole shot coming to turn 1. That was a good start. Danish Aram right behind him, tailing into turn 1 as the field now, all 24 of them, stream through the first few set corners, and it looks as though Zikri has got the jump that he wanted, and Yan Ming then with a slightly indifferent start as he touches Long Li slightly, but the rest of the field, apart from that one guy going to the gravel trap, I think that was Nazir Azman, but the rest of the field then go away cleanly. Spoke too soon, never mind, it's a big one. 5-6 cars involved there, and one completely out of the race.
Yep, he lost his front right tire there after that collision, so it's very unfortunate that his race done and dusted for race 1. He has race 2 to capitalize though, but meanwhile, Mohammed Zikri leading the way with a 0.2 second gap to Sir Danish Ahram.
Wow, look at that. He's focused there, isn't he, Amo? But looking really tight there. He needs to win this race. He needs to put pressure if he's going to win his first championship in E-Racing GP.
Yeah, indeed, and he has come close quite a few times. He's been like the bridesmaid, but never the bride, so he might want to actually do that today, this round, and indeed this championship to finally win one. He has won a few races, so he knows how to win here, but he's going to have to defend hard right now. He needed to defend hard there from Danish. Oh, never mind! He has actually been spun around by Danish. Oh, that's disastrous. That's not what he wanted here in his championship charge.
Wow. That's it done, isn't it? No, it's not done, obviously. He can still a lot of time. He can still probably get back up to the top 5. But Danish Aram there with a really not smart move there, pitching the leader into a spin. So Danish Aram there, I think definitely there's going to be some protests flying there. And hard to see him not getting a penalty. But wow, it's played right into the hands of championship leader.
Yep, Yang Ming Chu capitalizing on the mistake made by Danish Aram and Zikri. So championship leader from P3 move up to P1 and looks like he'll be extending his gap from Mohammad Zikri in the championship.
He had quite a rough last round last time out in Silverstone where he was actually blocking everybody left, right and center. So Yaming here looking to have a clean weekend, just like he did in Sepang to actually, and he got a win to boot here in the second race. So really then, he wants to replicate what he did in race 1. Oh, Chit Long Lee has hit the back of Danish Aram. So you might say that's a bit of karma there for Danish Aram, I guess.
Yeah, so I wouldn't call it karma. It's just unfortunate by Chit Long Lee there, who overshot his brakes and hits the back of, say, Danish Aram. And you know, funny enough, Chit Long Lee actually stopped by waiting for Danish Aram, probably just to give the way back to Danish Aram, but in the process got collected by someone else in the rear of his car.
Yeah, those two incidents are both caught on camera. Unlike a certain championship that I took part before where the incident was blatantly caught but no penalty was dished. So luckily stewards in our championship worked tirelessly to restore parity to everybody.
Indeed. Meanwhile, let's go on board to Yang Ming Chu. Yang Ming Chu, 0.8 of a second. The gap between him and Kelvin Pao just now was 0.2 and now has been increasing by Yang Ming standard. It's now 0.8 of a second. And I don't want to say anything, Emo. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to do the commentator's curse.
I don't want to jinx it either, and I don't want to remind him about what happened last time out when these two came together, Kelvin Pao and Yang Ming, where Kelvin actually hit the back of Yang Ming, which cost him the championship in bronze last season. So Paul Ricard was quite dramatic in more ways than one for Yang Ming, so he will try to distance himself as much as possible from Kelvin in order to avoid a repeat of that.
Indeed, it will. And Sharik Zulkan 9 though, right behind Chit Long Lee there. Gap is not that close. It's not that far either. He is closing the gap to Chit Long Lee, but by how much? Chit Long Lee, I reckon after the few incidents he has some damage, but how much damage does he have at the moment?
Quite a bit on the front wing because the damage is set to, well, I think I was about to say limited, but then we saw Jack McGregor completely losing the front wheel of his car, so I think damage is on full. So maybe he's got a bit of aerodynamic damage at the front that has cost him a bit of maneuverability. So you can see why Long Lee is actually dropping, like not to say dropping like a stone completely, but he's losing a bit of pace compared to the other drivers that he was battling with at the front of the field.
Yep, and the gap between P1, P2 and P3, no, sorry, the gap between P2 and P3 is 2.8 of a second. So Kelvin Pao is getting closer to Yang Ming, but Edward Wong can't get close to Kelvin Pao, which is very unfortunate. Edward has the pace, but it looks like he doesn't have the pace in Portimao, does he?
Yeah, speaking of pace around here, Kelvin was only about, what, 4 tenths behind. He's about 5 tenths behind the fastest pace setter in the leaderboard, which is Danish Aram, 37.6. But we saw in qualifying 37.4 was the order of the day, with Zikri being one of the fastest. So in terms of pace, I think he is there or thereabout, but it's just that he probably needs to really push it a bit more to get that final few tenths. Meanwhile, further behind, this is Ang Sheng Wan, or Hao Sheng Wan, as he actually is named himself. Fighting against Dave Smart for the tail end of the points. 13, he will get 3 points, but that's pretty much a good return for him because he hasn't had a good run in the ERGP in the past few runs, as Dave Smart you can see that he's crabbing a bit. I think that's lag there, Afik.
Yeah, it looks like I wanted to say that he was doing his best Takumi impression, but it's just lag.
No one can crab that fast up through the start-finish straight and still maintain about, what, 220 kilometers per hour on the main straight. So really then crabbing due to server issues. But it seems as though Dave didn't have that much of a problem in the copper class race. So guess the internet decided to act up now due to the fact that the Australian Grand Prix is going on right now.
Maybe. It's very interesting. Noise in P9. He's being chased down by Nasrul Ashraf and, you know, round 1 of the Copper Series winner John McGregor in Portimao. John looks like he has the pace, but he's currently down in P11. Let's look at that. Nasrul Ashraf down the inside, hits and spins.
And who was that hitting? Was that Nasrul hitting? No, that's actually McGregor that actually wiped the both of them. And Noise and I like how you pronounce his name, just not like Noise and that was a moment there for Noise, who luckily got away with that one. So the big beneficiary out of both of them was John McGregor that time. So really then that battle was resolved because of a collision. Now then, back up in front, Kelvin Pao has actually got alongside Yang Ming Chiu. Will he make the move mistake? Yang Ming hangs around the outside, and wow, he managed to he kept his foot in and kept the lead, but Yaming will not like it one bit because knowing the fact that these two had a bit of history before, he might want to actually avoid getting a collision here that would jeopardize his championship.
The fact of the matter is that both of these drivers, the leading drivers, almost did a Stroll and Verstappen moment that come into turn 1. You know, still fighting it out though. Kelvin Pao not giving up with the fight. Yang Ming though has to defend like his life depends on it. And it's going to be very interesting. We have 7.5 minutes to go. Who can be the winner in this race?
Yeah, who can be the winner? Who could be the sinner? And in this case, Kelvin Pao then might potentially become a spoiler here for Yang Ming in his fight for the championship. And Kelvin, of course, he is the Copper champion from Season 5. He has tasted success before. He shot his way up to the front of the grid that time, but unfortunately he's found the life and go and get tough. And Broughton says, oh, he nearly loses it, and that's it. That might just be enough for Yang Ming to stretch out the advantage up in front. I was about to say the going gets tough for him, and nearly got completely tough, losing it coming out of turn 11. Oh, open my mouth and I'll be pleased there, Afiq.
Yeah, open your mouth and you'll be pleased there. Meanwhile, Edward Wong in P3 defending against Raymond Anguilla and Chut Long Lee. Apologies there, Raymond, if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Raymond, though, round the outside of turn 15, will he get the job done? No, he doesn't. Edward still stays in front of them. Chut Long Lee, though, hello. Will he get a slipstream? By the looks of it, he will. But Raymond Anguilla in P4 will dive down the inside. Will he dive down the inside, Emo?
I think he will certainly try that, Aguiar. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, is Raymond Aguiar. Aguiar around the outside, coming out to turn 1, while Edward Wong defends on the inside, and Aguiar took a bit of the sausage curve at the first corner there. That might damage the suspension, and I think that might have been the reason why some of the guys actually were crapping a bit, as Kenny Lowe gets disqualified for ignoring a drive-through penalty. That's quite unfortunate. But look at that. The damage to the suspension is actually quite visible. Because look at that. It's actually crapping slightly.
Yes, and I think the reason why it's crapping is probably because it's from the US of A, so maybe that's the reason why. But suspension damage looks like he's gotten some.
Highly likely to, because we were on board with him when he tried to overtake Edward coming to turn 1, hit the sausage curb and just mounted it completely. So I think that's why the car is crabbing a bit to the right, as we look at Jaden Ng, who has been quite a revelation as well in the ERGP series. We saw him, how he fought with Brendan Paul at the start of the season in Sepang between himself and Brendan. That was a battle between the real world racing teams, and FSA Racing have been really active in their social medias promoting themselves in the series, which is quite nice to see when the real world meets the virtual world as well.
Indeed it will, and probably one of the few teams in the championship at the moment that races in the real world and the virtual world. FSA Racing, Stratos Motorsport. Meanwhile, Raymond Aguila loses out the position to Chut Long Lee there in the Z Challenger Samsung livery car, sorry. Raymond Aguila though, same move that he did to Edward, but it doesn't look like he can get the move stick ammo.
Yeah, indeed, and look at that. The steering wheel is actually slanted to the right, so you can see that there is a bit of suspension damage, and rightfully, he avoids the sausage curve that time around. So Aguiar then losing a position to Long Lee, but he can try to fight back around the outside, and look at that. What a brilliant move from Raymond Aguiar. That is actually a good traction that he got out of there to actually get onto the inside and get in front of Long Lee. But Long Lee then in turn has the inside line coming out to turn 5, and well, he backs out of it, but tricks Aguiar into the mistake, and that's it. That's Long Lee back up to 4th place.
I'm a bit curious with Edward Wong. Why isn't he pulling away from these two? He should be pulling away. These two are battling like there's no tomorrow. Edward Wong, the gap between him and the guy in P4 is down to 1.2. Look at that, Raymond Aguilar down the inside again of turn 8. Braun has delivered again. Round 1 delivered. Round 2 check. Round 3 definitely delivered so far, Emo.
Indeed, I think you are absolutely right. This is the category that we look most forward to, especially given the fact that they're driving in Formula 3 cars that are always absolutely chuckable and quite nice to see from the outside anyway. The racing is absolutely brilliant. So it has proven again why we love the bronze class so much here, as Chuk Long Lee then goes onto the inside of Nazir Azman. Nazir has actually joined into the fray as well. So really then, Chuk Long Lee has not made the most of a good starting position in this race, after being tagged slightly, of course, by Kelvin Pao, I think, at the start of the race. Oh, sorry, Danish Aram. So really then, it's just a matter of recovery for him, as Nazir then leads this train of 4 cars at the mid part of the top 10.
Meanwhile, let's go back to the leader though. Yang Ming Chu has lost grounds and Kelvin Pao dives down the inside, coming to turn 3 and moves up the lead. Kelvin Pao from embarrassment to triumph. Oh, Yang Ming spins!
He's lost it! Yang Ming has lost it! He has actually succumbed to the pressure, and now, well, he's got a bit of advantage to Edward Wong. Edward, there he goes through the screen. He's gonna lose second position, but will he lose third then? He's lost second to Edward Wong, and now Aguiar's coming up to the back of him. Oh, is that a back marker? That was a similar cut him. Oh, that was a back marker. But Yang Ming still maintains second place, but for how long? Those tires might have been soiled by that mistake.
It looks like it. Look at that. Raymond Aguilar closing the gap to Edward Wong. And now the battle for P2 is on, ladies and gentlemen. 2.5 minutes to go. Kelvin Pao leads the way after that spin by Yang Ming Chu. Yang Ming in P2. And with that cooked rear tires, it doesn't look like it's going to be a happy day for Yang Ming.
Oh, dearie me. You thought that he might have actually sealed the win there when Calvin made a mistake coming out of turn 11 to just scamper away. But unfortunately, it has not been the case. And Yang Ming has been reeled in by the Copper Class champion from Season 5 to overtake the Copper Class champion of Season 6 to take the lead of the race. That is a battle of champions right there.
Yep. And as Kelvin Pao looks like, where is Kelvin Pao at the moment? Let's go on to him. Yep, crossing the line in a bit. This won't be the final lap. This will be, we have 2 more laps to go, and next up will be the final lap. Look at that. Edward round the inside of Yang Ming, moves up to P2. Raymond Aguilar though in P3, moved up to P3. Will he look like, it doesn't look like he'll dive down the inside, Amo.
Yeah, to think that this is also a debut for one of the Americans, which is Remy Aguiar, and Aguiar is looking at not only a podium but also to go one better, to finish in second, as Edward then soaks up all the pressure, but looks as though he might relinquish second place here coming out to turn 3. And there we go, Raymond Aguiar goes up to second, while third place will be Edward Wong. And Edward, you might say, it's quite perplexing to have him drop to third place when in actuality he was right in front of a battling couple of drivers. He could have actually made a beeline for it.
Yep, oh, look at that. Edward Wong tries to find a way down the inside of turn 5 though, coming into Raymond Aguilar, but backs off. He's being sensible here, Edward. You got 1 minute to go, 1.5 lap remaining. Kelvin Pao leads the way, followed up by Raymond Aguilar and Edward Wong in P3. Yang Ming though, with those cooked tires, has to back off. He can't push any further, otherwise that will just be the end of his race for the championship leader.
And fortuitously, for lack of a better word, for Yang Ming, he is still ahead of Zikri, so he would still increase his gap at the top of the championship. And with Chester Lam Knight here, as well as Chuk Long Lee having a race, an indifferent race, he will still be well ahead of the championship. But look at that, he has lost another position again. And, well, I think he might be suffering a puncture. Can you check the indicator of if any sort of puncture has actually been detected for Yang Ming? Because that is a severe loss of pace for the young Malaysian.
There isn't any tire wear, no damage to Yang Ming. So we don't know what's going on. I think it's just the rear tires being cooked up. Kelvin Pao, though, race leader, 12-second gap to Raymond Aguilar. And Raymond Aguilar in P2, followed up closely by Edward Wong. That's going to be a podium at the moment, but it's not over yet. Nazir Azman though and Sir Danish Afram battling it out for P4. Let's jump on board to the battle for P3. Edward Wong though, oh, I thought he was going to close the gap there coming to turn 2.
And he has lost it a bit actually. He is now going to fall into the clutches of Nazir Azman and Danish Aram. And Danish, who has overtaken his championship rival, Yang Ming, he was 11 points coming into this round. So he will gain points on him. Not much, but just a bit. As now, Yang Ming has actually dropped to 14th. He has actually dropped it all the way to 14th place. So we cannot focus on Yang Ming right now. We're watching Danish Arab if he could overtake Nazir Azman and Edward Wong to get a podium. He's got a drive-through penalty for speeding in pit lane. So that's unfortunate for him. Yang Ming will start this race 2 on the back foot, but we're looking at the battle here for the final places on the podium between Nazir Azman, Danish Aram, and Edward Wong. As we look in the inside, that is Zikri, and I think Zikri has also called it quits because I don't see him anywhere in that top 10 as well, Afiq. So really then, the championship rivals have all faltered here.
Yeah, but he was really smiling just now as well, so he's really happy that Yang Ming's having some issues.
Well, that's a bit of schadenfreude there if we have ever heard about it, as we'll talk about that later. But right now, coming out of turn 15, Kelvin Pao then driving for the Academy across the crest and across the line to take his first win of the season, and he has actually waited quite a while here to get a victory, and we have not seen this level of domination since the Copper Class. So Kelvin Pao fists up in the air with absolute delight then with this victory, and we will get an interview with him very soon, but we'll run through the rest of the field after this. But I think, Alex, you might just want to talk to him soon.
Absolutely. We have to talk to the man of the hour. Kelvin, what a great race. You got to take us through it.
Oh my god, I am so nervous throughout the race. I never.
You made a mistake early on when you were trying to overtake Yang Ming. Did you think the race was done there, or you just you knew you could get it back at him?
Most of the time, I'm just thinking, I just going to keep it on the track. Don't think too much.
Yeah.
But just going to try to my best to just push it. I don't care anymore. Just go for it.
Wow, fantastic result, man. I mean, congratulations. I think it's your first win of Global Edition 8, and I think it really helps your championship position as well.
Yeah, I mean, today is a very good day.
Yeah. Well, top 15 reverse, so you will start in 15th position. Good luck for race 2. Wow, great result.
A bit of a great result for him, and a bit of a Friday reference there. Today's a good day. He is Ice Cube, and he kept his cool when he dropped it right here at turn 11. So he managed to crawl it to the back of Yang Ming and get that win. Second is Remy Aguiar. Third is Edward Wong. That'll be a podium. And another podium for Team Rising Line with his teammate Nazir Asman in 4th. 5th, Daniel Shahram. Then Chuk Long Lee, Jaden Ng, Shari Zulkarnain, 7 and 8 for FSA Racing. 9th is John McGregor. And 10th, Shang Wan. What a good recovery to actually finish in the top 10 in his return to ERGP.
Wow, great indeed. Okay, so that's bronze race 1 done. We're going to come back anyway, we got the race 2 coming up. Just interesting, getting some comments on Facebook and some of the other social media that F1 qualifying is going on. Can we delay the races? No, unfortunately, we can't. But is qualifying started yet? We should try and put that on the TV. Maybe we can give you some commentary from qualifying as we go along. But let's not forget, we got a race 2 to go. And this reverse grid. So the 2 championship leaders, Yang Ming and Zikri, had a disaster of race 1. They were leading the race at certain points. They were out and back of the outside the top 15. So they don't even get to take advantage of the reverse grid. Both of them going to be starting from the back to try and see what sort of points they can go. They have to try and get something. But other than the championship leaders, of course, we have to focus on the battle at the front. Can Kelvin Powell get to the front? Can the new driver from America, Aguirre, also get to the front as well? He finished P2. Ammo.
Indeed. Yep, we're going to get underway for race 2 here. Kelvin Powell in 15th. So we heard just now he'll be on the middle part of the whole field of 24 cars as we are now going to get the green light underway now, and that is a good start from Abdul Yazid Razak, but John Friday then cuts across to actually take the lead here. We're looking at Kevin Powell, who has actually made a good start as well. He made up 1 position, but coming up to turn 1 here, all the Formula 3 cars swarming into that turn 1, and inevitably quite a few people are going off the track just to actually keep themselves in the race. So well, nothing much to report apart from just a few argy-bargies here and there. Oh, never mind. 1 car spun,
Well,
and I think that might have... Yeah, I spoke too soon there. That might have been noise. Oh, so rest of the field. And another car into the barriers. Same as in race 1. So I guess the first few corners are quite treacherous in these cars, I think. Oh, it has a big hit.
Yep, oh my goodness. It's a lot more chaotic in race 2. Remember reverse grid, and this is what reverse grid does to races. Psycho mental warfare. That's what you don't want. Abdul Aziz Razak, though, being the biggest winner there in P1, though, as a returning guy into the e-racing global edition, though. Dave Smart, though, moves up to P3, so it's very good by Dave Smart. And Chris Chu up to P2, Ammo.
Wow, wait. Can we rub our eyes? Is that really Chris Chu up to 2nd? Because I don't think that is Chris Chu, because that might be Dave Smart right behind. So Chris Chu is probably just bobbing his way through the timing screens, unless that could be... No, it is Chris Chu. So our bad there. because he's driving the same car as Yazid Raza. So Abdul Yazid Raza is up in front with the same car. So we got confused a bit. But there we go. Chris Chu, to confirm, is up to P2. And that is a good day for him if he could finish on the podium again in this race.
Yeah, indeed. Finished P2 in the copper race just now, and up to P2 in the bronze race 2 is Chris Chu. Kelvin Powell, race winner in round 1, sorry, in the first race just now in round 3 of Portimao, is currently in P8. And look at that, the field of cars though.
like a swarm of bees to honeys to honey, you know, in a honeycomb in a hive. That's how these cars look like when they swarm around each other. It's coming up to turn 1 now. There's my enemy Tiers. Oh, Kelvin nearly ended up into the barriers there. Luckily though, he kept it just into a half spin, but to his detriment, he's gonna get swarmed by the rest of the field, and another car goes into the infield there as well. This is all kicking off, and we're only in lap 2 as 4 white then, I think 4 white coming out of turn 3.
Well, I thought it was going to be 3 wide. It was a 4 wide coming into turn 4 though. These drivers, where did they get their bravery from? Edward Wong though in P6, Mohamed Zikri though moves up to P5. So Mohamed Zikri being the biggest winner there in all the fight there.
No, actually, you know who else is the biggest winner? Yang Ming Chu, who's up to 3rd. He's right in front of Chris Chu.
Is right? Oh yeah, he has overtaken Chris Chu. Chris Chu might have made a mistake there. Dave Smart moves up to B2, Yang Ming moves up to B3, and Chris Chu not having the best day, not having the best time at the moment there in P4.
Alright, so this might just put the championship impetus back to Yang Ming, who is in front of Zikri, and Zikri then has a slowdown penalty, so that might have been coming up to turn 11 where he went a bit wide and got a slight penalty, but he might be able to get rid of that in the last few corners, as Yang Ming then, a disappointing end to race 1. He could have won, but he had a spin, might presumably had a slow puncture, came into the pits and got disqualified for speeding in the pit lane. So really then, he's probably got some fire in his belly to actually get a result here in race 2 in order to keep that championship lead coming to the final round of the season.
Wow, okay, so we just have to look at the leader, Abdul Yazid Razak, leading, but the battle for the championship is where we got to look at as well, don't we? Yang Ming there in 3rd, Mohamed Zikri there in P5, and we can just see right now, there he is. He knows this championship's on the line right now. He has to get up to Yang Ming. This is the battle we need to watch because it's for the championship, and they are neck and neck. Zikri there, P5, what a great first few laps, but he has to get in front of Yang Ming, who's in P3 at the moment.
And most crucially, of course, we have to remember that Zikri had a terrible last round in Silverstone a couple of weeks ago, where he had a double non-finish. 1, because he whacked at the barriers, and 2, because he just couldn't overtake from the back of the grid anyway, and he had to retire as well. So really then, he cannot afford another drop round. That round in Silverstone is his only drop round that he can afford now.
And with Yang Ming Chu and Mohamed Zikri finishing outside the points in race 1 just now, Mohamed Zikri actually celebrated the fact that Yang Ming got a penalty and finishes outside the points. So championship is still on the line here, ladies and gentlemen. Mohamed Zikri fighting with Yang Ming Chu, and Mohamed Zikri looks like he's trying to find a way past round the outside of Chris Chu, coming into turn 11, sorry.
And he does, round the outside, nice move by Zikri, but he's now got someone else coming down the inside of him, which is Aguilera. But Zikri survives for now.
Yeah, Raymond Aguiar, who actually came onto the inside there, and Aguiar made it an opportunistic move to actually get up to the inside. So really then, this guy, a debutant in the championship, but makes it one of his biggest ever debutant entries to actually get it up there to P5. And he, of course, he was on the podium in that first race, so really then he's on a hunt for 2 and 2.
Abdul Yazid Razak leading the way, 1.6 second gap to Dave Smart and Yang Ming Chu. Look at that, Raymond Aguiar. I couldn't put my mouth straight. Meanwhile, Raymond Aguiar fighting it out with Mohamed Zikri. Oh, look at that Aji Baji there between Chris Chu and Edward Wong. Edward Wong moves up to P5. Raymond Aguiar though, coming out of turn 4, has a slipstream from Mohamed Zikri. Will he dive to the inside of Mohamed Zikri? It doesn't look like it. Turn 5 is a little bit far-fetched for Raymond Aguiar to make a move.
And I'm quite surprised that his internet connection is quite stable, actually, driving from stateside and quite early in the morning, I would say, depending on where he's from, in one of the 8 time zones that the US has. But it'll be around 2 a.m. right now, but he's racing quite well here, Aguiar.
He is, and he must be very sleepy, isn't he?
Yeah, it should be, but unless of course he's doped up with some Red Bull, and of course if he's watching Formula 1, he'll be watching that after this as well, late in the morning. Still though, this is quite a good debut for Aguiar, with a podium and now chasing one of the championship contenders. This might be a guy to watch out for in future seasons.
I gotta interrupt you there, Dave Smart there. Look at that, 0.7 of the gap to Abdul Yazid Razak, and hello, championship leader Yang Ming Chu in P3, closing the gap to Dave Smart there, and 8 minutes to go. We've seen Yang Ming messes up in the last race. Mohamed Zikri though has to close the gap to Yang Ming in order to gain the most points in this round. Remember, you have a little less points in race 2 than you do in race 1, and points are all that matters because Mohamed Zikri had a terrible round 2 in Silverstone.
Indeed, a double non-points finish that he had, and thanks in no part to Yan Ming also colliding him a bit, but his ultimate retirement in race 1 where he whacked it to the barriers was just because of the suspension damage when he ran over a curb. So really then, it was through no fault of his own that he went into the barriers in both races, and he's just been on a recovery job since, and 3 races in a row with no points, that is not championship form. So he really has to get it right here in this 3rd round of the championship with only 1 round left to go after this.
Yep, and look at that battle for P1 heating up. Yang Ming is rubbing his palms. Dave Smart though tries to find a way around Abdul Yazid Razak. Doesn't look like he can get the job done. Oh, down the inside goes Dave Smart. Hits the back of Abdul Yazid Razak, and Yang Ming capitalizes on a mistake by Dave Smart. Moves up to P2, so championship leader moves up a position, Ammo.
Oh, indeed. You thought that he was not going to make a move there, but unfortunately, to Dave's detriment, he has lost out a position to Yan Ming. And now, Yan Ming then, he's got a bit between his teeth. He knows full well here, he might be able to salvage something from what could be said was a shamefully disappointing first race. And now, he is betting on the sharp end once again. What a great drive from this kid. You know full well that he is in championship contention when he drives like this.
Yeah, but he has to be very aware that Yang Ming Chu has a slowdown penalty given by the Silvers, and has to slow down, otherwise he's going to get that penalty. And Muhammad Zikri, look at that gap, is closing down. Bronze delivered in race 1, Bronze will deliver again in race 2. 6.5 minutes to go. Winner takes all.
I think we might just have to keep the Formula 3 cars for future seasons, as Yazir Raza defending the go-kart style line there, trying to actually prevent Yan Ming Chu from overtaking. That might just be inquiring the wrath of the stewards, as Yan Ming actually manages to squeeze it through, avoiding the sausage curb twice to still be side by side. All the while then, Dave Smart is watching brief, and guys in 4th and 5th are chasing up. Zikri and Aguiar are right there as Yan Ming takes the lead.
It's a 5-way fight for the lead there. Yang Ming Chu leads the way by Abdul Yazid Razak, Dave Smart in P3, Muhammad Zikri in P4, and Raymond Aguiar in P5. Oh, Dave Smart down the inside of Abdul Yazid Razak, gets the job done. Oh, he spins. Dave Smart spins. Loses two position. Half spin.
Half spin, and manages to recover, and he touches Zikri on the way out. So really then, it's all kicking off here, and it's a top 5 battle for the win. Would you believe it? This might be one of the closest ever finishes in the ERGP.
I hope it's a photo finish. I really hope it's a photo finish. That if a photo finish is what determines the race today, I'll be very happy. I'll be a very pleased man today.
A very happy chappy indeed, but still we got 5.5 minutes left to go here in race 2 in the bronze class. And look at that, Raymond Aguiar is now up to 3rd place. He's gonna get a double podium here. He has actually worked quietly to sneak his way up into the podium positions, and now he might be just aiming to best his best ever finish in the ERGP, which was in 2nd last time out in the 1st race. So really then, wow, what a guy to watch out for future seasons. He is actually mixing it among the veterans in this class.
5 minutes ago, Yang Ming extends the gap to Abdul Yazid Razak 1.1 seconds. What separates him between Yang Ming and Abdul Yazid Razak and P3? Look at that. Raymond Aguilar, though, will he make the move round the outside coming into turn 1? That's a little brave by Raymond Aguilar, though, backs off being sent through. They're coming to turn 2. Will he dive down the inside coming to turn 3? Doesn't look like it. Abdul Yazid taking the inside line coming to turn 3, Amo.
Yep, and all the while then, this is benefiting into Yan Ming Chu's hands. And we saw this before. He was about 1.5 seconds ahead of Calvin Parr in race 1. Dropped it slightly after being caught by Calvin, and then completely losing it when he actually just scrubbed out his tires. So he might want to avoid a repeat of that in the 2nd race when these guys are actually battling away. Zikri up to 3rd place. This is doing good for his championship as well. He might just lose only 3 points due to the fact that first place gets you 15, 2nd place gets you 12 in race 2, but he will take the 3-point hit over losing more if he were to retire again.
He has to overtake Raymond Aguilar, though. Raymond Aguilar has been a very big headache to Muhammad Zikri in this race. In both races, actually, Raymond Aguilar right in front there. Muhammad Zikri tries to dive down the inside coming to turn 10, down the dipper coming to turn 11. Oh, Raymond Aguilar being a little bit squirrely there, Emma.
Indeed, Aguiar now feeling the pressure there from Zikri. So Zikri is really hounding the back of that car. The American holding on then for dear life for 2nd position to match his best ever finishing position in ERGP. And all the while then, they've actually dropped a bit Yazir Raza and David Smart. So Dave Smart and Yazir Raza will now have to fight among themselves for 4th place. This will now be a bit highly strung out a bit as we now come into the final 2 laps of this race, Afiq.
Yep. Is it 2 laps? Yeah, I think it's 2 laps. Yang Ming leading the way. And look at that. Dave Smart tries to find a way around the inside of Abdul Yazid Razak really get the job done. Doesn't look like it. Oops, almost coming together there, Abdul Yazid Razak and Dave Smart. Meanwhile, Muhammad Zikri though dives on inside, coming to Lagos. Oops. Raymond Aguilar still holding it out. Oh my goodness. He's defending.
What a fighter he is. He can actually hold on to that. So Aguiar then still holding on to second place. But for how long? Because Zikri has the inside line coming out to turn 5 here through Torre Vip. And he gets him. Now would that be job done this time around? And Aguiar would no doubt be fighting back. But what a battle between these two. Just to their detriment, they're losing time to Yang Ming Chu, who's now 2.8 seconds in front.
Yep. But as you mentioned, 3 points is what is going to be separating between Yang Ming and Muhammad Zikri. 3 points will be brought over into the final round of ERGP Global Edition Season 8 in the bronze category. Muhammad Zikri and Yang Ming Chu will battle it out for the championship. At the moment, though, Zikri has a 2.6 second gap to Yang Ming and is being pressured by Raymond Aguilar. I really don't know how will this happen.
Actually, because Zikri will lose only 3 points because 15 and 12. So 3 points will be lost for this one. And we have to remember in qualifying, that was actually a different case altogether. So forgot where they qualified just now, but it would just be a 3-point deficit loss, which coming to the final round will be 8 points, because coming to this round, it was 5 points separating between Yang Ming Chu and Zikri. So really then, the man with the most to lose is actually Zikri right now. It will be an 8-point swing to Yang Ming Chu at the end of this round if he keeps it together. But Remy Aguiar has other plans here. He comes out to the inside into turn 1. Will he make it? Zikri squeezes him and in turn goes wide, and that might incur him a slowdown penalty. Actually, it's befallen Abdul Yazid Razak. So I don't know how that came up to be, but it is what it is. But Zikri still holds up second place in front of Raymond Aguiar.
Yep, indeed. Raymond Aguiar though tries to find a way around the inside, coming to turn 5 of Muhammad Zikri. Will he dive down the inside? Nope, a bit further back. Zikri though holding his position like his championship depends on it, because it is on the line, the championship. Minus the qualifying extra points that you get in qualifying, 3 points is what is going to be separating them in the championship coming into the final round of the bronze category in Global Edition Season 8.
And put that in total 8 points if things stay where they are. But again, Aguiar might have some other ideas here. He still has a couple of corners to go. Through Craig Jones' corner, named after a superbike rider that sadly died in 2008 from the World Supersport Championship, Brands Hatch. So that's why somehow Portimao got the family to name the corner after him. So side facts, just to actually point out why is it named like that. But anyway, Aguiar then only has one other opportunity left to go here. The front start finish straight. If he could actually get up to the back of Zikri, and all the while then up in front, Yang Ming Chu will take the victory here in race 2, and quite deservedly so, after dropping it so painfully in race 1 to come across the line here over the crest, and he will take victory. But who's going to finish second? Zikri could hold on to it. Slipstream across the line. There's going to be a photo finish here for second place. Will Aguiar get second place across the line? No, Zikri holds on to it by just the slenderest of margins, and for the second time ever, in fact 3 if you include Spa all the way back in season 4, that he had to hold it all the way to the line. What a finish, and look at that, a puff of relief there from Zikri. Aguiar with a double podium, but Yang Ming Chu crucially with a race 2 victory to extend his championship lead. What a finish there, Afik.
I wanted a photo finish by the winner. I got a photo finish in the second place. I'm still happy.
Yeah, what a photo finish. You got what you wanted. Zikri though, bad, good, bad. What happened today?
Well, I think if you see the first race, I think it's clearly explained. I just got hit off really, and then that's all gone. First race is gone.
But what happened? Because you were still P10 at that point, then you retired.
I lost my engine. I basically that collision just lost my engine completely. So I was like, I can't race in this. I better don't race. So yeah.
Oh dear.
So yeah, but I kind of made it up in race 2. I don't know what the championship is like. I hope I still can fight it. But yeah, that was a really good battle between Aguilar till the end in race 2, and I'm pretty happy. I got second place back.
Okay. Well, good for that, mate. We've got to read out the top 10 right now, but you'll be back. You obviously need a double win, I think, for the championship next week. But well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. Well, so we actually, no, we don't have that. Anyway, so that was bronze class. Super exciting race. As usual, always delivered. You enjoyed that.
Oh, I do. I love it.
Yeah. I think we've got to use F3 cars more in the future. F3 cars always give us good racing. It's got a nice balance of fun to drive and good racing, and without DRS, you know. So it's kind of nice. We always have good racing with that. Okay, so that's the bronze class done and dusted. I know we got F1 qualifying right now, and you guys are probably watching that. But we also got silver and gold coming up in about 15 minutes. We're just going to go for a quick break, and we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. So see you in a while.
Things to be aware of organizing e-racing championship without race room. First, no automated leaderboard would always be labor intensive. Elimination round would be the only way to filter the winners. Having the participants adhering to the schedule would be a huge test. We need to know the task will get bigger when participants increases. Time consuming. Organizing e-racing championship without race room, it's all need run manually to take down the participants and eliminate them from first round group to final round group. Because it is manual human labor, there bound to be human error. Manual human labor would have a price tag for the man hours involved. New participants would never have chance. The e-racing clubs in the world will send their best racers to participate the race. But that means your championship exposure is just limited to the e-racing clubs. Why choose race room? R3E official championship have fully automated leaderboard. Participants can log in anytime to leave the fastest lap time within the qualifying period. Each of the racers already have their ranks with race room. Next, save time. You can have unlimited amounts of participants in a super short time to qualifying them to final race. Race room can cover unlimited amount of participants. We have a full automated esports ecosystem from qualifying leaderboard to broadcast AI. Besides, race room's free contents lets everyone can participate to the race.
Welcome back. Hello. This is E-Racing GP Global Edition 8. My name's Alex Young, and with me,
Mama Afiq.
hey, Afiq. So we've had a whole bunch of great, exciting races. We saw copper class, bronze class, and now we got silver and gold. We combined silver and gold in Global Edition 8. This is, of course, our 8th running of it, and that is coming up next. We are at round 3 of 4, and if you want to see what happened at round 2, here are the highlights.
On board with Axel. This is a good on board. This is almost very retro-like. Remember the days of Senna here? As we're underway. And it looks as though he's got a good start. He's got a jump on Inigo. And Axel, I think, will get a horse shot coming through turn 1. Yes, he does. He gets the jump on his Filipino teammate from the Esports Championship for Southeast Asia. As further behind, there's a couple of cars going off. But let's not mind that. We had to look up in front. Nocom then leads away, but Inigo fights back. Alex, that was a good start from Nocom.
Ooh, what a great start. Goes around the outside of that corner. Fantastic.
Does he make it? Does he make it through Stowe? Oh, well, yes, he does. He's side by side, but Axel hangs it around the outside. What a brave move there from the young Filipino and holds on to the lead.
Wow, fantastic battle on the opening laps of this race. Oh, and Axel looks to the outside and sweeps around the outside. Inigo got pinched at the apex, and what a great job by the 12-year-old.
It's a class battle there.
Nocom goes wide, allows Anton to slip through, and now Anton is back into the lead as they go through Maggots and Beckett's.
In the championship, but coming out of the final corner now is Inigo Anton, who takes the win here in gold, and a brilliant win after the initial fighting with Axel Nocom. And we are out. That's a green light. So everyone's underway. And on board with Inigo, look at the way he punches through the grid. He is now up to second coming up to turn 1. Would you believe it? What a start. And Axel Nocom follows suit. We're now watching Son Edu. Edu is now going to be swamped by these two. Inigo then side by side with him coming through Maggots and Beckett's. The easiest maneuver you'll ever think of, as Inigo now storms to the lead. Axel Nocom then watching brief. Whether or not he wants to actually attack, it's up to him. He's got a few seconds to spare in front of him. But Inigo then with a brilliant start in this first lap, Alex.
Axel Nocom has got to the front. Inigo Anton must have made a mistake somewhere.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Wow, side by side. I think Anton went the wrong way. He should have gone to the left, I think. But he went to the right. But now he's going to the right, and he makes a move. Oh! Nocom's gone off. Yeah, absolutely. Gary Lynn, there he is in P2. The Australian will be really pleased with that. I don't think he's finished on the podium before in E-Racing GP. This could be the first time for him.
First time on the podium, and even first time with a win too. So Inigo then has to watch his mirrors because he's coming up fast, and I think Inigo might have had damage. He actually has damage. Look at that, the suspension that has actually been damaged slightly. He's crabbing, and Gary takes the lead of the race. Here we go then. Inigo side by side coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Inigo takes back the lead of the race. Anton first, second Gary, and third is Nocom. What a battle for the lead here in gold. He'll get to emulate the likes of Nakib and Alif Hamilton, who have won a double here in the championship. As he comes across the line now, Inigo Anton wins in gold class race 2. Axel Nocom with a very close second place.
Okay, and here are the driver standings after round 3 of 4. This is actually the silver class, and you can see Nicol Sage there is leading that championship. Don't forget there are 2 classes in this race. Silver class, Alan Drake Cruz in 2nd, Aldo Ray Balogun in 3rd, Roy Siu in 4th, and Harris Shaimi from Malaysia in 5th. This is the gold class now, and gold class we just saw the highlights for. Inigo Anton still leads that championship by quite a bit, actually. Axel Nocom in 2nd, Muhammad Alif in 3rd, who missed round 2 but is back here now for round 3. Sonido in 4th, and Alistair Young in 5th. On to the team standing. Stratus Motorsport winning by quite a bit right now from the Academy and Team Racing Line in 3rd, FSA Racing in 4th, and Z Challenger Racing from Hong Kong in P5. And in the Nations Cup, Malaysia leading quite comfortably now from Singapore, Philippines, Hong Kong, and Australia. Okay, that's the highlights done. We've got 5 minutes of practice left before we start our qualifying for gold and silver. Let's go have a look at some on-track action right now. And you can see some of the drivers out there. We're riding on board with Muhammad Alif right now. He's a bit of a legend, this guy. He missed round 2 because he was in Australia. He was actually in Malaysia doing some go-kart testing, some real-life testing. But he's back for round 3 now today, and he's a legend. he's still, he was just texting us that he's trying to watch Formula 1 qualifying and practice for the race now, but he's definitely got his eyes just on practice right now. Alif has won 3 global editions. He won the first 3 global editions, and arguably, in my opinion at least, probably the best sim racer in Southeast Asia. Would you say so?
I would say so. You got the likes of Nakib, Andika, and Dylan Tan to name a few, but Alif has been proven to be one of the quickest in all the sims that he raced in.
Yeah.
Race Room, iRacing, Assetto Corsa Competizione, R Factor 2, where he finished P4 in the Virtual Le Mans this year, with Nakib, Inigo Anton, and Josh Perwian.
Yeah, that's a good example, man. I mean, he's so versatile across so many different championships, which is always a mark of a good driver. You know, those drivers can jump into all the different sims. They understand what they're doing. They understand that craft. So you know, if they get into a real car, they can be just as quick. Yeah, I think you got, like you mentioned, some of the new up-and-coming drivers, Nakib and Dylan, but they haven't been around long enough, have they? Whereas Alif has been winning consistently for what, good 8 years?
Alif has been one of the old dogs in the Southeast Asian region, alongside Andika. But Alif is still young.
Yeah. He's only 22.
He's only 22.
Yeah. So yeah, still, he's not even reaching his prime, if you ask me.
Yep.
So he's out there doing a good job. Who is out there right now? Paul Fastinos from Philippines. Good to see him back. He's up in P2. Unfortunately, Inigo Anton and Axel Nocum are both doing real-life racing this weekend, so they won't be with us. But in this championship, we do have drop points from round 1. So Inigo and Axel will be dropping points from this round, and they'll be back for the final round, round 4, next weekend. Ooh, look who's just gone quickest. Son Idu's just gone quickest, a 28.2. What tyre is he on? He's on the medium tyre. Tyre wear's quite high today, ×3. So I think the medium tyre will be the good race tyre.
I think it is. I think it will probably just stick it to hard if you tend to overcook your tires a lot more compared to all your other races. I will stick it into hard because I can go slow at the start there, but when it matters, especially in the last 7 minutes, I can go all out, whereas all the other drivers will have their tires cooked.
Yeah, that is a good point. Okay, then Son Idu then trying around in the medium tires. I think most of the pro guys, the gold guys, are using the medium tires for race pace. As for the GP2 cars in the silver category, there we have Harris Shami there out there. They're on the hard tire with ×3 tire wear. They're telling me they can only use the hard tire for these 15-minute races. That will make it very tricky. Obviously, they go to softs for qualifying. 2 classes, let's not forget, we've got the gold class in the 90s style Formula 1 cars, like we're seeing here in Son Idu. And then, of course, in the silver class, we have these old GP2 style cars. What are they, about 5 seconds? 3-4 seconds off the pace of the gold guys. So 2 different classes. Harris there, he missed round 1, but he had a pretty good round 2, and he's still in the hunt for the championship as well, isn't he?
Yeah, drop points are being considered in this championship. That's the beauty of e-racing GP. Where Endurance Edition, Global Edition, we have a drop point system. So if you miss round 1, if you miss one round, that won't be a problem. That round will be dropped. However, if you miss the other one, then that round won't count.
Yeah, that you'll make it difficult for yourself then if you have 2 bad rounds in such a short championship. Let's see who else is out there. Nickel Sage, he's leading the silver class right now. He's in the pit lane, so he's obviously happy with how much practice he's done. Michael Farrens, another driver, an American based in China. Shanghai, isn't he? Yeah, so it's great to see him there, and his internet seems to be quite good, and we actually have him on Zoom as well. So his Zoom seems to be working quite well. There he is. You can see him there in the inset, looking very calm and collected. He's just done a 33. This is a Ferrari-style car, isn't it? It's probably a V12.
Probably a V12.
We have different cars here as well. We've got the V8s, V10s, V12s. V12s have got 5 kilos of ballast, or roughly the same. Sounds like a V12, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like a V12, but I like the sounding engine of a V10.
You do? I love it.
It's screaming.
I love the V12s. I remember the Ferraris and the Hondas in the 90s with the V12s. Oh, they sounded so good. Was it Honda? No, it was the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini had the V12. Oh, that was quite nice.
The Ford as well.
Yep. Nico Sage right now. There he is, out in his GP2 car. He is our championship leader. He's only 12. The French-Malaysian driver, only 12 years old. He's not won a championship yet in e-racing GP. Could this be the time?
Maybe. Maybe. It might be the day for Nico Sage to actually get a win.
Okay, let's ride on board with him right now. There is Nico. Oh, that's not Nico. He's just chilling right now. He's so calm. He's even going to... Oh, there he is. Now he's starting. Now he's starting a lap. We have to go on board with him, and maybe we'll do a lap of Portimao so we can talk a bit about the track and how it is. It is 4.5 kilometers long, and you love it because of the elevation changes, don't you?
It's a lot like Genting Highlands. That's the thing. That's the thing about Portimao. One of the only places in Europe where, apart from Spa, you have a lot of elevation changes. As you can see in Nico Sage now crossing the line, coming down the hill into turn 1, a fast right-hander. You drop 2 gears into 4th gear from 6th. Another one you take in 5th as he downshifts there into the 2nd gear, which is turn 3 called Lagos. Then you flat your throttle through turn 4. Oops, a little bit oversteered there by Nico Sage. Probably hasn't put any heat into those tires there. And you brake hard after the 100-meter board for turn 5.
Yeah. Turn 4 is definitely not flat in these cars. Through turn 5 hairpin. This will be a corner 4 overtaking as well during the race. 6 and 7, look at the elevation changes. Actually, a lot of tracks in Europe have quite big elevation changes, but this one is quite severe with that plateau across the start-finish straight through Sector 2. As he comes through Sector 2, will he go purple? Yes, he's purple to Sector 2 and looking quite good as he goes into the third and last sector.
Yep, third and last sector indeed. And down the hill again, exiting turn 11 and flat out to turn 12 before you brake hard coming to turn 13. Have to hug the apex and the curb on the inside to minimize the error and have a good line coming to Sagres, which is turn 14. And turn 14 is where it will make or break your lap, because if you misjudge the racing line exiting turn 14, then you will compromise the line coming to turn 15, and turn 15, after turn 15 is the start finish straight as Nico Sage crosses the line now. Where will he be?
Okay, so there he is. He's quickest of all. He's pole for silver class, P3 overall, but he's pole for silver class. He'll be quite happy with that, though. There were a couple small mistakes, so I know he'll think he can improve. Pole for gold, though, is Muhammad Alif there, the Singaporean, with a great job to go 1.5 seconds quicker than Sono Idu. So just showing his class at the moment as he's gone quickest. Obviously, the task for him today is to try and win both races. I mean, the field, we're a bit short of entries for gold today, but he has to make hay while the sun shines, because Inigo Anton's not here, Axel Norcom's not here. If he can win both races, that'll put him right back into the fight for the championship.
And one more person that you're missing out is his little brother, Taspi.
Yes, Tasbi's not here. He's not here today either. But so that makes his job a lot easier.
Yep, indeed. Alif, though, 1/10 up. See, the thing about Alif is that I like about him is that he'll carry the momentum, and once he sets a lap, he knows where to improve it right away. Look at that, 3/10 up in sector 2. This is going to be a mighty lap by Muhammad Alif. Will we see a 25 in the server? Probably.
Let's have a look right now. Yeah, I think this could be on for a 25 for sure. Couple corners to go. So only real corners. One more corner here to go. After this, out of turn 14, then turn 15. Looks nice and neat, nice and calm. Sliding the car a little bit through the corners, which you kind of need with this car, because there's so much understeer. You want to just get the car to rotate around. Yeah, it looks nice and calm. Easy pole position for Alif as he goes quickest. And there you go, 25.4.
Impressive. Very impressive by Alif.
Yep, Sunny Edu there in second position. So he comes across the line to start his lap. He's got one more lap to go. Paul Faustino in third. There he goes. Going through the order right now. Nico Sage there. He looks to hold on for pole position, and he's actually going to improve his time even more. He's going to go from a 29.9, and he goes across the line, and that's it. He improves to 29.9. That's pole position for him. Alan Drake Cruz just within a tenth of him in P2, and Harris Zephy there in P3 right now as he comes across the line to start his last lap as well. So all these drivers got one more lap before the end of qualifying to try and improve and maybe snatch that pole position.
I would like to point out, Alex, the combined age of the two leading cars in silver has a combined age of 16.
16, wow, that's nice to see how young they all are.
And they're giving these elder gentlemen a run for their money. Nico Sage and Alan Drake Cruz is a few people that you can't mess around with. They may be small, but they're quick. There's the beauty of it.
Absolutely. P3 though right now in gold class. Paul Faustino looks like he's improving his lap, so that's good. These cars though, you know, I mean, the traction is really difficult. How tough is it to drive these cars?
I've driven one of these Formula 90s car in race room, even though I'm not a race room advocate. These cars are difficult to drive because they're very torquey, they're very oversteery, and they tend to snap very easily compared to other cars. So these drivers are one of the skilled drivers in Southeast Asia, has the ability to control a Leaf. To look at a 25.4. Didn't improve his lap time, but has a 2-second gap to the guy in P2, which is Son Edu. So there you go, qualifying done and dusted.
That's right, and there you can see there, a Leaf there in first, Edu in second, Faustino in third, Sage leading the silver class, followed by Drake Cruz and Harris Shami as well. Okay. So, qualifying done and dusted. The race 1 and race 2 coming up. Race 1, of course, is a straight off 15-minute race. Race 2 is then going to be a reverse grid race of race 1, and that'll be quite interesting. Let's just have a look at the track while we wait for the grid to line up. And you can see right now, the Portimao track, all those elevation changes we talked about, 15 corners. Sector 1 is the red, Sector 2 is blue, and the last sector is in yellow. And you can see that all the different corners there. Look out for overtaking spots. Turn 3 is good. Turn 5 is also a good place. You can overtake around the outside into turn 8, interestingly enough. And of course, that last sector with the big elevation changes is important too, because you get a good exit out of 14, you can carry the speed all the way through 15 and down the start-finish straight. We do have another commentator with us. My name's Alex Young, and with me is Mohammed Afiq in the studio. But over on Discord, we have Amo as well. So let's just chat to Amo, see if we can get him on board as we get back into the server. Amo, what do you think is going to happen later? Amo, are you there? No, we've lost him.
We've lost Amo Haziq.
Okay, so what do you think is going to happen later?
Alif is going to pull away with the lead, win the race, win race 1, win race 2, even though there's a reverse grid in place for race 2. Like I said, like I mentioned just now, Alif Hamilton, the likes of Alif Hamilton, Andika Rama Malana, Nakib Azlan, Dylan Tan, to name a few, are one of the fastest drivers I've raced against in Southeast Asia. And I have the privilege racing against them because they're very quick. And you get to learn a lot being behind them, but not only that, you can't keep up to them, no matter how quick you are, because they'll just put away.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying that they're quick.
All right, okay, so we're back in the server right now. We're going to miss just the start of the race. Let's go back into the race now. Okay, Amo, can we hear you? I think I can hear you now.
Is it on?
Yeah, we can hear you. Were you muted,
Okay, so
were you? All right, so we got kicked out of the server for the start of the race, so we're just going to miss the start of the race as we watch the cars teleport back into it. Can tell you, though, that Muhammad Ali, although we can't see the car, is leading this race by quite a bit.
He's rather camouflaged right now with the asphalt of the circuit and the runoff area. Now we can see him. And for those who are confused on why he's the only car on the circuit, you have to wait until all the cars are loaded. So you might see only one car right now, but all 19 drivers who are in this race are in the circuit right now. So they're present. There you go. There's Sonny Du. That looks like Sonny Du in third place behind Alistair.
So Alistair Young with a great start. He did not have a good qualifying there, but somehow he's up to P2. Wow, because he qualified like 10th, I think. I don't think he put a lap down in qualifying, so to be up to P2 is a good job.
Yep, and Haris Zeffri, who started P3 in the silver class, is now down to P18 overall. He must have had a poor start there, and maybe might have gotten collected by some other drivers.
Okay, now let's go look at Silver. Silver, Nico Sage leading. But he's only got a small lead from Alan Drake Cruz. This is the battle that we need to focus on right now. This is for the Silver Championship right now. Drake Cruz is up there in that championship. They run in the same livery car, which is slightly annoying because it's hard to tell the difference. And they've pulled out a bit of a gap with Darren Ivan there in third position in the Silver class. But look at that. He's fighting quite hard there with Shafiq Zulkainan as well. Oh, gets the exit out of that corner. Yeah, and he's got it sideways with Zulkainan. Zulkainan, they're right all over the back of him. Looking to the outside. Oh, trying to come back to the inside. Nice switcheroo. Has the inside for the next corner. But yes, Darren Ivan holds around the outside, and he's got the inside for this next left-hander.
And Darren returning to the championship after quite a few seasons away. He was runner-up in season 6 behind, I think it wasn't Calvin Powell. I think it was one of the, Jun Chen, teammate to Haris Zefi. So really then, that's quite a return to the championship. And unfortunately, he has knocked out someone to the barrier. That's Oliver Bitzmeier. So the the German driver has been knocked into the wall and lost his front wing.
Oh, shame for Bitzmeier there. He's going to have to come in and change that wing. And that's bad. He's not going to recover from that.
Yep, missing front wing there by Oliver Bitzmeier. A little bit unfortunate there for him, though. He got collected by a few cars just now coming into turn 12.
Yeah, he was with Darren Ivan and Mohamed Zikri in that particular battle. And look, he's coming to the pits, and another driver is coming to pits as well. It looks like I think that might be Darren Ivan also coming in for damage. Can't see right now. Where is it? No, it's actually Raymond Aguiar. So Aguiar has come to the pits with him. So he's been in the wars in the first few corners.
Yep, there they are repairing the cars. Back on track action though. Nico Sage there just still leading from Drake Cruz. I just wonder, can Drake Cruz get to the back of him?
Looks like it, Emo, doesn't it?
A bit of a tough one to call, because remember, despite these cars having the GP2 shape, these cars are the ones without DRS. So the only way to get up to the back of somebody is to really push it hard and try to claw back the deficit. But with tires that deck quite severely, they might just have to be conservative in the first few laps. You might see Cruz try to push towards the end of the race, but at the moment at least, the ball is in Nico Sage's court.
Indeed it is, and Nico Sage still putting away the gap between him and Alan Drake Cruz now is down to 1.3, has increased to 1.3 seconds, 1.6 seconds is the gap between Nico Sage and Alan Drake Cruz, and Shari Zulkai 9 there.
Darren Ivan
yeah,
there, P7. So he's
Yeah,
still
Darren
out
Ivan.
there. No damage though.
Yeah, no damage to the car, even though it was quite a major collision, if we're honest, actually. And look at that, he's struggling through the final corner in turn 15. It might just be aerodynamic damage. And look, in turn comes into the pits, bang on cue, cuts across the white line. And Alex did mention earlier that you should not cut that white line in real life because it will get a penalty. But I think he could get away with that in the virtual world, as Sonido now cuts his way through the silver traffic. Not a good start for the Osa NZ driver, but at least now he's cleared a couple of the Formula 2 cars. Oh, he runs a bit wide. But Darren Ivan there, I think because of the big collision, has resulted in him coming to the pits. So that's quite a shame for him on his return to the series.
Sonny do that, making his way back up after not a good first lap, and he overtakes Mohamed Zikri right now. Zikri though has Balaglulan all over the back of him right now and has to be careful about that.
Yeah, his championship in this one, at least minus the one in bronze, as he is fighting for that one. He did tell me before that he wanted to aim for the double, but unfortunately he cannot replicate what Freddie Spencer did in the MotoGP World Championship back in the 80s, where he won the 250 and 500cc classes in 1 year. So he could just settle for at least a top 5 finish, but looks like he's got a mountain of work to do here with very fast drivers in silver.
Yeah, he does. Balagudan there was just hunting him down, isn't he? He's looking to try and find a way. Can he? No, I thought for a second he was going to try down the inside. Ends up having to bail out of that and loses a bit of time with Zikri. But at the moment, Balagudan looks like he's got the pace that if he can just get past Zikri, he should be able to pull away.
Indeed, and he also has to do it organically. We're using the slipstream and try to actually just muscle his way through to turn 1. Can he do it this time? He's got the slipstream coming up the crest, over the hill, and onto the start-finish line. It looks as though he's got it, actually. He's got the draft, but unfortunately, Zikri dives onto the inside. That makes it difficult for Balagulan. He tries to do a switchback. Zikri runs wide and gets him. So it's Balagulan then up to P4 in the silver race. Good maneuver there from the Filipino.
Yeah, really good maneuver there. And then Zikri gets a slowdown penalty for going off track as well. So that means that Balagulan now has a chance to just try and increase that lead. Sun Edu, though, who's ahead of this guy, has gone off. Something's happened to him, and he's just trying to get back on the track. So that's not a good job. That's unfortunate for Sun Edu.
I think that might have been a puncture for him, because it looks as though he's got a slight puncture. So, well, he's back. There he is. He's back onto the back of these guys. But that's a weird mistake, though. The car literally slowed onto the gravel. He might have been distracted as well. for good measure. But whatever it is, looks like the car is in good condition, it's healthy, so he's gonna fight now with Michael Ferrens for the middle part of the top 5. In fact, he's in 5th, Ferrens is in 4th. This is gonna be a cracking battle between these two.
Oof, interesting line he's choosing there. Let's go back to the front though. And there we go, Muhammad Ali from Singapore, Team Flash, winning this race quite comfortably. Has a nice big margin with halfway to go over Alistair Young in P2, Black Arts Racing. And of course in P3 you got Paul Faustino there recovering after that bad first lap and trying to get back up towards the front.
Indeed, and it's still quite surprising to see that the gold guys are actually behind the silver guys, by virtue of the fact that the Formula 90 cars just seem to be more susceptible to damage compared to the Formula 2 cars. Yes, the Formula 2 cars, if you just get a wing onto the back of a tyre, it does cause a puncture, but it seems as though the suspension geometry on those cars, the FR90s, are just much more flimsy, and you can see why, if the car's completely damaged, it's just you had to go into the pits. But having said that, sorry Alex, having said that though, we did see a couple of Formula 2 cars pit in after the end of the first lap.
Yep, I think they've gotten damaged, those Formula 2 cars. Oh, Nico Sage there almost loses it coming into turn 8. This is what I was talking about though. You have the tendency to lose the rear. And what does that mean to Nico Sage? Alan Drake Cruz looks like he's driving down the inside coming to turn 10 of Nico Sage. Championship leaders fighting it out in race 1 of Global Edition Season 8 between gold and silver there. Oh, look at that, Nico Sage diving down the inside. It still stays ahead of Alan Drake Cruz though. Alan Drake Cruz not giving an inch to Nico Sage though, Amo.
Well, Nico Sage likewise not giving an inch to his best friend as well, because both of these guys also car in real life and they race each other a lot in sim racing. So I think friendship will be put aside for this one if the battle for the win is up for grabs. And Nico Sage though defending with all his might to prevent Alan Drake Cruz from overtaking after a slight mistake there from Nico in the previous lap. And look at that, the amount of slipstream that Cruz got to the back of him. He might try one on the outside, but it looks as though nothing to it there. He might have to just get himself back up because he knows full well opportunity has just presented itself.
Okay, well, Nico Sage looks very calm in the inset. That looks calm and collected. But for Drake Cruz needs to get the win here. He needs to try and put a dent into the championship lead of Nico Sage, because Nico Sage has quite a big lead, almost what's that, 25 points, a bit more over Drake Cruz. So Drake Cruz does have to try and beat him.
27 points to be exact coming into this race. So really the deficit for Cruz, it looks as though it might be a bridge too far for him to gain back there. But never say never. We've seen just now in bronze how the championship leaders faltered when they needed to have the best performance the most. And it could happen here. Well, having said that, Cruz just goes a bit wide coming out of turn 11. And that would just give the advantage back to Nico Sage here. About 1.5 seconds between them.
Indeed it will. And look at that, Alan Drake Cruz has, after that mistake running wide though coming into turn 10, the gap between him and Nico Sage is now up to 1.7 seconds. Nico Sage though sitting comfortably in the Formula 2 car. Same goes to AR Muhammad Ali, who's sitting very comfortably in the FR90 Gold Class car. And I think it's going to be easy win for both of them.
Well, you say easy win, but we saw just now how Nico, the unflappable Nico, has actually made a mistake slightly coming out of turn 11, and that came a cropper for Calvin Parr as well for a second. But Calvin actually managed to recover and win that. Nico, on the other hand, he's leading the race. So if any mistakes were to happen, it would be detrimental for him because he will lose completely the advantage that he had.
Indeed, it will. And, I'm just looking down on all the other races. So Paul Faustino down into P3 in the gold category, and Sun Idu, who had a lot of issues just now in the early part of the race, down to P4. And Michael Ferrens, the guy, the American racing in Shanghai, is down to P5. Sun Idu though is trying to find a way past Muhammad Zikri, Aldo Balagulan, and only Muhammad Zikri and Aldo Balagulan. These two are not fighting for him in the championship. They are fighting for overall though, but it's going to be a little bit annoying for Sun Idu.
It's kind of like the GT4 battle that we had when we're in GT3 trying to overtake GT4s in Barcelona. It's just that a bit difficult to overtake when the cars are in the way. It's even more so when you take into account that these Formula 2 cars are no slouch. no slouches. They can actually be quite fast through the mid part of the corner because look at this. The entry speed and the exit speed is just about the same. Yes, the FR90 has the legs up on the FR2, but this is certainly no GT4. He's gonna have to overtake him with power on the straights.
And they have the same amount of downforce, don't they? The FR2 cars compared to the FR90s. Roughly the same.
Maybe, but we will have to take into aerodynamic coefficients into account because the fact that by this time F1 cars are aerodynamic. Yes, you can see the Y246 contrails or vortices on the side of the wings, but not it is actually more than the FR2 cars. So really, if you're saying about aerodynamics, these cars are more aerodynamic than the FR2 cars, but it's just that the way that the cars are designed is not as efficient as compared to the more modern Formula 2 cars. So that's why through the corners, it's quite a handful for the FR90s to get through. But on the straights, because they have about, 60 extra plus horsepower, especially when you're in the V12 car, they can power their way through. But it seems to be not the case for likes of Faustino, who's just about got through on Balagulan, but still far away from Cruz.
Yep, indeed it is. Now,
Okay, so let's go right on board with Muhammad Alif. Just, what's this, 2 more laps to go? Sorry, you were saying?
I was just about to say 2 laps to go, but will he, lift off a bit and then make this a final lap of the race?
No, I don't think so. 2 more laps to go. Muhammad Alif there trying to finish the race. It doesn't make sense to do that. For him, even though he's got a big lead, Alif is going to just keep pushing towards the end.
Yeah, especially given the fact that... sorry, Alex, go ahead.
I was just going to say the medium tyres, of course, will be an issue, but easy win so far for Alif. A nice, good lead there. Gosh, I wonder how many wins this will be in Global Edition now. Huh. Mr. Statman, I wonder if you know. There'll be loads, so won't it?
I mean, it'll be quite a lot. It will probably pass the dozen by now because Des, of course, has the complete stats. I'm just only trying to compile as much as I could. But as far as I'm concerned, I think he has more than a dozen wins in the ERGP. So this will be adding up to the dozen.
Absolutely. He'll be thinking about the reverse grid race later because of his top 10 will be reverse. So he'll be starting in 5 as there are only 5 drivers at the moment. So coming across through the last corner now, got a back mark at a lap, and he'll be on the last lap of the race.
And now will we see him backing off? Now I don't think so because despite having a 23-second gap, he is backing off slightly though because at the start lap it was 24 seconds. Now it's less than 22. So I think Alif's just backing off slightly just to conserve his tires to get it all the way to the end of the race. There we go. He's crossed the line. This is the final lap of the race.
Final lap for him. Let's go back there to Nico Sage just now in Silver Class. He is leading Silver Class and he's got a nice handy lead over Drake Cruz right now. With just a little bit more than a lap to go. This should be quite comfortable for him.
Indeed, apart from that slight scare where he had a bit of a moment coming out of turn 11, it seems that Nico's got this race pretty much covered. And unless, of course, that car right behind that looks like it is Faustino. Faustino has actually gotten by Cruz. So if Faustino were to actually, just nudge, wink, help out his fellow countrymen slightly by distracting Nico, I don't see Nico losing this race at all.
No, he won't. Back at the front, though, there is Muhammad Alif. Half a lap to go. And this race win will be his. Amo still has to say that he's going to be favourite, isn't he, for the race too? With only 5 cars in gold at the moment, it'll be hard to beat him, won't it? His pace advantage is such.
Yeah, but Alistair will be starting in front of him, so I think Alistair might just give his chief rival in this class a run for his money, but it looks as though Alif may just be unprecedentedly away from the rest of the field in front, as he is doing now in race 2. So coming up through turn 15, across the crest, and to the start-finish line here, Check and Fly will be waving, and Alif takes a win for the first time this season in the Gold Championship. What a win for the Singaporean. Unchallenged up in front and superbly handled there to win the race ahead of Alistair Young by more than 24 seconds, Alex.
Yeah, no, good win there. That's an interesting line. I wonder if there's track limits there. Maybe not. But yes, Alistair takes second. Paul Faustino will then come home in P3. And of course, winner for the silver class, Nico Sage there, looking quite comfortable indeed.
And troubled by the gold class car behind, which is Paul Faustino. He'll be on the podium in 3rd place, but nothing will disrupt Nico Sage from taking yet another win. That will be his 3rd win of the season. In fact, 4th win of the season after losing out to third win of the season after losing out to Aldo Balogun at one point. But now across the line, he will take victory here in Portimao, and that's a dominant victory, more than 3 seconds ahead of Alan Drake Cruz there in second place, and third place further behind will be Chok Long Lee, who will take a podium here in the silver class. So that's it. That's all the drivers in the top 3 podiums for both classes crossing the line, and hopefully, Alex, I think we might have a podium on the cards. Interview on the cards.
No interview at the moment. Can't get him. Actually, let's see if we can try and get to Nico Sage right now, because Nico Sage with a good win there. Nico, can you hear us?
Nico.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done. Congratulations. You had a good battle there with Alan Drake Cruz. You want to talk us through your win?
Yeah, the beginning was interesting because I didn't have that good of a start. And then Alan overtook me, and then I overtook him back. So basically, out of the 1 second range, there's basically no slipstream. Right. So I went outside of that 1 second. But after I did a mistake, so basically I lost time. And then he was right behind me. But after he did a mistake, so I pulled away at the end.
Okay.
And it was a good race.
Good. Great to have you back on board. So you're winning the championship now. Got a reverse grid race now. You're just going to stay out of trouble, or are you going to go for the win?
I'm probably going to go for the win.
That's what we like to hear. Okay, good luck. Get ready for race 2.
Thank you.
You might say that's quite a redundant answer because, of course, when he is this fired up and he is in the form of his life with 3 victories in this season, you might say that he just wants to get another one just for the sake of it.
Yeah, well, that's good seeing that he's attacking, doesn't he? He wants that he has that hunger. He'll start P10 in silver class, so he has got to survive the first few laps. We've seen that these cars are a bit fragile and we have too much contact. So the last thing Nico wants to do is obviously get that contact, lose the front wing, shall we say, and compromise the second race.
Indeed. Now then, we're going to grid up soon. We see one car in the pavilion. That looks like Alistair's car, so Alistair may not make it for this race in time. Oh, that's a disaster then. If that is... No, Alistair's made it onto the grid, but we're about to go underway here for race 2. Lights on the gantry then, and we are going to get underway now. There we go. At the front of the grid, Michael Farrens. Beside him is Son Idu. But it looks as though both front runners have actually not had a good start because Alif has punched his way through to the front of the field and takes it through turn 1. Alistair then also nearly going through there, coming out to third place. But it's Alif from 5th place on the grid in gold class has taken the lead as Alistair gets a big whack from Son Idu. We're seeing Paul Faustini right now, and Michael Farrens went off the track in turn 3, but it looks as though apart from a few argy-bargy moments, oh no, spoken too soon again, Farrens has actually spun into the crowd and amazingly didn't get collected by anybody. But looks at the front of the grid, Alif has made the start that he wanted, and he will take yet another double, it seems.
Yeah, it'll be hard to beat that, but Sherry Sukailan, the leading silver class, had a great start, good first few corners, so he's leading the silver class and he's 4th overall. So good for that. In second position in silver class, Abdul Yazid Razak there in second position, and Raymond Aguilar in third position.
And Aguiar in his typical, almost customary position in this round, at least because he was in second and third when he was in bronze, and you can see that he's up to second now because Yazid Raza just went off. So Aguiar in almost a customary second.
Let's have a look and see what's happening. Nico Sage had a mistake, not just off track. We didn't quite see what happened. Maybe he spun and he's recovering. Hopefully that car's in one piece though.
I think so. He might just have a bit of a scare in between, plus the tires are a bit dirty. But apart from that, it looks as though physically the car's fine as we look at the battle for P6 between Aldo Balagullin and Nazir Azman. And Nazir also has Abdul Yazid Razak for company up in front. So it's a 3-way battle here for 5th place as the cars fan out coming to turn 1. We see a car further behind, a bit crabby there. That looks like Chiu Long Li as Balagullin takes 1 position away from Nazir Azman, and Nazir made a mistake there. He wears Sonko or Kopia for good measure because he's fasting as well, gonna go do praise tonight as the car spins. That looks like Aldo Balagullin. Balagullin's actually dropped it coming out to turn 3, and Nazir laughing there to the bank. He's got a free position there from spins, but it looks as though silver class is a bit more dicey compared to gold.
Indeed, it does. And look at that. I'm sorry though, Sherry Zagana leads the way. Raymond Agia in P2. Mohammad Zikri though in P3. It's very interesting though. Mohammad Zikri had a poor start there in race 1 and now up to P3 in the class. Sharik Zulkarnain now leading the way, and the gap between him and Raymond Aguirre is now down to 2.8 seconds in the timetable. Oliver Bursmeyer though in P3 who had a much better race 2 compared to race 1.
Yeah, indeed. He actually was knocked out by Darren Ivan Rajan in that race 1, which contributed to him losing his front wing and subsequently had to retire from the race. So, apart from that one, we're seeing the leader in overall and in the gold class, AR Muhammad Alif, away by 5 seconds ahead of Alistair Young. So, Alistair then managed to actually just sneak his way up to second place from the start, but it looks as though he has no answer to the pace that Ali's setting out in front. Meanwhile, 5th place overall and 1st place in silver is Sharik Zulkarnain, who's looking for back-to-back race 2 wins, but in different classes. Remember, he won race 2 in that dramatic race in bronze, where he pipped it, well, he didn't pip it across the line, but he managed to pip to the front of the grid and managed to hold on to it to the very last lap of the race and kept it there. So he's looking as though he might be able to get 2 consecutive wins, but in different classes, which is amazing if you think about it.
Indeed, it does. It's very interesting. Sharik Zulkarnain, he's one of the few rookies here in the Toyota Racing Gazoo program, racing not only in the real world but also the virtual world. So you got the likes of his FSA Racing teammates, Hamdani also racing in the Gazoo Racing Junior program, and you got Nabil Azlan, who's not racing in season 8 of Global Edition though.
Unfortunately, we saw the best of him in season 6, where he gave his brother a run for his money in the Group C cars, but unfortunately Nakib got the better of him that time, and likewise Alif as well got the better of Tasbi in the first few rounds of the season. We saw in Sepang how it was a bit fanned out with that particular battle. The only other driver to actually match them was Inigo Anton, who also is unfortunately absent because, like the real world example that you're putting there, Afiq, doing some real world racing for this one as well. So really then, real world commitments are coming back to the fore after a couple of years that it was being sidelined due to the pandemic, but now is in full swing again, and looks as though we can expect more real-world drivers coming in pretty soon.
Yep.
Okay, let's look at the on-screen action right now. Alistair Young there in second position has Son Edu all over the back of him, as this is the battle for second position in Gold Class.
Oh, Edu runs a bit wide there. Nearly came into the back of him, and Alistair was fully aware. You can see that his eyes are constantly shifting, looking left, right, and center. Where in the world is that guy in third place? Nearly went to the back of him. So luckily for Edu, he had enough space coming into turn 5 to just avoid that. But that's a wake-up call for Alistair, isn't it, Afiq?
Yeah, it is a wake-up call for Alistair. Sun Edu, the gap was 0.3 of a second and now up to 0.9 of a second because of, Sun Edu like missing his braking point coming to turn 5 there. But, still 9.5 minutes to go. Sun Edu has an ample time to catch Alistair Young. Alif, though, on the other hand, sitting comfortably in the lead of the gold class.
Doing something that, unfortunately, Lewis Hamilton, for Alif's sake, because of course he's a big fan of Lewis Hamilton, he's doing what Lewis cannot do this season, and that's leading a race.
Indeed, he is. And at the moment, sorry, I'm just looking at the F1 timetable. The Hamilton fan, Alif's Hamilton fan, in P5 at the F1 qualifying will go back to the race though. Alistair still in P2. Sun Edu, the gap between him and Alistair is now up to 1.2 seconds. So probably Sun Edu might have overcooked his tires there a little bit. That's why he's backing off. Oh no, the gap has gone down a bit, Emma.
Indeed, it has gone back to now just under a second. And if there's DRS here, and unfortunately for these guys, will not have the luxury of that to do so because they're in Formula 90 cars. There was no such thing as DRS back then. Likewise for the FR2 car, Sharik Zulkarnain leading the race, going a bit wide. And it looks as though he's having a nice Saturday afternoon drive with a 3-second gap ahead of Raymond Aguirre. So really then, he could just take his foot off the gas slightly, conserve his tires and go all the way to the end of the race with just 8 minutes left to go. Meanwhile, P4, Nico Sage, great recovery from him. He was at the tail end of that silver class train. Now he's on the cusp of a podium here. He could still catch up to Oliver Betzmere, but he's got 5.8 seconds to gain there, Afiq.
Yeah, and the gap between him and Oliver Betzmere, as you said, is 5.6 seconds. A little bit further back, not sure if Nico Sage can close the gap to Oliver, though Oliver doesn't look like he can close the gap to Raymond Aguirre either. Sharik Zulkarnain is sitting comfortably in the lead in the silver class, which is, quite refreshing. Like you mentioned, Amo, he is very quick, Sharik Zulkarnain. As right on board Raymond Aguirre, a little bit of a power steer there coming out of turn 13 into turn 14, and What is he doing? He looks like he's cooking up his rear tires.
I think it's just the nature of the way that these Formula 2 cars are driving, because look at this. You have to saw your way through the wheel, through the corners, not through the fast bits because you can just have minimal input, but through the slow corners, because of the amount of torque power that has been put onto the road, you're gonna have to saw your way through the wheel just to keep the car under control, you know.
Shari, so kind of in the pits.
Oh, now that's a surprise that we did not expect. That might just be because of how much he's used up his tires, I think, or he could have a slow puncture. That would be a surprise because he was in the lead with no one challenging him, you know.
I thought he was going to win the race. I thought he was going to win the race in the silver category, but no, he pulled himself into the pits. So Raymond Aguilar, we're seeing it on board right now, ladies and gentlemen. Raymond Aguilar from the US of A is leading the silver class race in race 2 of round 3 in Portimao, hosted by ERGP.
Wow, what a turnout for the books this will be, because we saw just now how Aguilar was just so comfortable in the bronze class and he finished on the podium twice. So really then, he could have a trifecta of finishing positions on the podium in one round in 2 different classes, where he was second in the first race in bronze, third I think in the second race in bronze, and now second race in silver. He'll have a win, so he has a trifecta of finishing positions, and all the while then with other drivers also benefiting, including Oliver Betzmeer, who will get his first podium of the season, and Nico Sage, who will increase his gap to the front of at the front of the championship by a significant margin. I think we can safely say, even with drop points taken into account, he has one hand on the trophy here in silver.
And with 1 round remaining, if Nico Sage keeps his composure, finishes in P3, I think this is a championship done and dusted in silver category, Amo. Am I correct?
Might be, but again, I just only go for the safe option of saying that he has one hand on the trophy, and with 5.5 minutes left to go, anything can still happen. It could still befall the same way as what happened to Sharik. He might just need to come to the pits.
Yeah, we can't jinx it too early though. I'm really rooting Nico Sage to win the championship though. He's very talented, quick, and determined. Paul Faustino though up to P2. Alistair had a mistake there, so Alistair dropped down to P4, which is very strange. San Idudu is now catching the back of Paul Faustino, and looks like we're gonna have a battle for P2 in the final 5 minutes of the round 3 race, Amo.
Indeed, round 3 race 2 here for gold and silver. After this, it will be the last round of the season. So this is the penultimate round. And if anybody wants to make inroads in the championship, it has to be done now. And for the likes of Alif, with both his chief championship rivals, Inigo Anton, and amazingly, Axel Nocom, who's also in the thick of the championship fight, not here this weekend, this might just be the one race that will actually help him reclaim the ERGP title that he has won. Well, last one eons ago. It was in Season 3.
Season 3, that was like, what, 5 editions ago, wasn't it? It was yeah, it is 5 editions ago.
It is.
Yeah, so we're in Global Edition Season 8. We've done this 8 times in the last 2.5 years. And Alif, though, 3-time winner in the Global Edition, looks like he will be winning this race and will close in the gap to Inigo Anton and Axel Nocom. Raymond Aguilar, though, P4 overall. What has happened to Alistair Young?
Oh, something wrong there with Alistair's car. He might have actually peeled up to the pits, or he might have actually pulled into retire. So, disaster then for Alistair, who was looking for a good result for this one. And unfortunately, that has gone up in smoke. So really then, second place in that first race is good haul of points, but he would have loved to have more points in the second one. So, unfortunate for the Malaysian driver, he has to pull it out into the pits. Now then, P2 and P3 overall and in class, this is between Sonidu and Paul Forcinho. So Philippines versus Australia, and it looks as though the Australian has the bit between his teeth here. He is up to the back of the Filipino's car, and it looks as though it was a bit squirrely there coming out of turn 11, Afiq.
Yeah, it does. San Ido there. I think probably he has. Remember the lockup that he had in turn 5? A couple of laps earlier when he was trying to overtake Alistair? Maybe that's why. Maybe he locked up his tires again, and now the tires are almost dead, which is not what you want, because you have 3 minutes remaining, 3 laps remaining, given the fact that Alif is 20 seconds up ahead from the battle between these two, and San Idu has to play the patient game.
Well, I was actually referring to Forcinho because Forcinho looked a bit squirrely, but yeah, you're right as well. Edu seems to have troubles trying to actually get up to the back of Faustino. But having said that, Faustino's car looks a bit more of a handle compared to Idu's, and thank God for that, because we at least have a battle to look at here in the closing stages of this race. 2.5 minutes left to go. And it looks as though it's going to be a foregone conclusion, a bit of a formality that Alif, on his return back to the championship after a couple of weeks away because he was on vacation last time out in round 2 for Silverstone, comes back and takes it here to take the fight to Inigo and Axel for the final round of the championship. That'll be quite interesting to look at with the race being announced very soon. We'll keep an eye out on our socials for that to happen as we look at a battle between P2 and P3 here. And it looks as though it's a bit evenly matched at the moment, Afik.
It is a bit evenly matched. Look at that. The gap now is 0.8 of a second and 0.7 of a second now. And Sonidu has 1.5 laps remaining before he can make the final push and snatch P2 from Paul Faustino. Paul Faustino who has to defend. He's got, again, 1.25 laps remaining before he crosses the line in P2. Alif, let's jump on board him. We haven't shown him much. Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually 1.5 laps now from Alif. So they've got 2 more laps. Alif has gotten 1.5 more laps. So Alif sitting on a very comfortable victory there. Will cross the line in P1. Paul Faustino though, 0.6 of a second gap.
Yeah, 0.6 of a second, and Idu's actually lost it a bit here that time round. So Faustino's might have been given a wake-up call that he knows that the car is coming and he has to defend his position with all his might here. And it looks as though that was a bad exit for Faustino. He's gotten Idu right up his rear end, and Idu will not make the same mistake again as they have a back marker to go by. Or that might be Francis Angelo Gonzalez, who's been struggling this race. Or is it? That might just be somebody else, but I hazard to guess that might be Angelo Gonzalez.
Yeah, that might be Angelo Gonzalez. I might be wrong though. Look at that. Paul Faustino, they're being held up by the back marker, but diving down the inside coming to turn 5 though, has to extend from San Idu. He's got 27 seconds remaining, 1.5 laps remaining for him. Alif though is pulling away. The gap now is 22 seconds, so Alif sitting comfortably will cross the line again. Will win the race again with a 22-second gap to the next car in P2. But this time it will be Paul Faustino in P2 and San Idu in P3.
So let's see then, where is Alif in relation to them? Is he going to cross the line now? I think he is going to cross the line and take it to another lap, I think. So, one more lap to go. This next time by is the last lap, and Son Idu has one last chance at the bite of the cherry to overtake Paul Faustino here for a unlikely podium, shall we say, because we thought for a second that after he ran wide, nearly hit the back of Alistair, he might have lost it because of the tyres, but it looks as though he has saved enough of those tyres to actually fight on this last lap, Afik.
Yep, 3/10 now the gap between San Idu and Paul Faustino. The back marker being in the middle of the way has to move out and give the position. Look at that, Paul Faustino, right front tyre on the sausage curbs. That's round about San Idu now a little bit further back to dive down the inside coming to turn 5 and more.
That Zikri actually holding up Son again. So Son Idu not having the best of luck with the traffic. So the rubber to green is definitely on Son Idu's side. But for how long? Because look at that. There's another back marker right in front of them. And that is... No, that's not Alan Drake Cruz. I think that is actually Michael Farrens by the looks of it. Because that is Formula 90 car. It is Michael Farrens. So Farrens and Chris Coe will come in the way between these two. This might be problematic for Son Idu. Idu encounters the first of the traffic and gets by. So Alan Drake Cruz then has a terrible race too. That might not help his championship one bit. Michael Farrens goes wide. Oh, he actually blocks Idu. That is it. That might just be the end of the battle for P2 there. But Alif will come across the line here and take a double at Portimao. An absolutely superlative performance from the Singaporean. Now we have to go back to that battle for P2. Will it be a conclusion that will be in favor of Son Idu or Paul Faustino? It looks as though Paul Faustino might actually get... Yep, he has actually sealed the deal. So second place for Paul Faustino and third for Son Idu. So that's your podium in gold.
Okay, and there's silver right now.
Yep, and silver right now. Raymond Aguilar though coming into turn 12 for a little bit squirrely there, and race leader in silver class. Raymond Aguilar had a bit of a messy race in the bronze category just now, but looks like he's sitting comfortably to win race 2 in the silver category. So it's very refreshing for Raymond Aguilar to win this race.
Igor there takes the win. Bert Smile will be in second, and Nickel Sage will come through to third after just overtaking Aldo Bagulan on the last lap. So good recovery drive for him. But let's go on board right now to talk with Muhammad Alif. Nickel Sage, yeah, he's got one more corner to go. He's going to go. Oh, we just got to watch this one more time. as he goes across the line. Yes.
Oh, Aldo Balogun gets the inside line. Look at that, Nico Sage. Aldo Balogun spins. Aldo Balogun coming out of the final corner. He did a full 360, 720 there, 1080 there. Aldo Balogun.
Yep. So Balogun there won't finish the race. Nico Sage in third. But we have to talk with Muhammad Alif. Alif, double win. Not the hardest race I think you ever have to do, but you had to get the business done in the end with Inigo and Axel not here. You must be happy with that. Double win?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was hoping that they were here, but unfortunately they might have been busy with something. But yeah, still had to get the job done, which is the most important part. Yeah, pleased with the win.
Yeah, well, congratulations. That puts you right into the championship hunt. Where the round 2 you dropped that round, and they'll be back next round. So we look forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Okay, well that's the gold and silver class done. Good wins there for Muhammad Alif in gold class. Nico Sage, extending his lead silver. I think that championship is pretty much done for him. And of course, there he is, finishing P3, but P6 overall in race 2. So it looks very good for him indeed. Your thoughts?
Exciting race in race 2, a little bit of a dull race in race 1, but it's expected because Inigo Anton and Exxon Alcom is not in the race, which is very unfortunate.
Well, they will drop the points from this round 3. They'll be back for round 4. That will be the decider for Global Edition 8. So you have to come back for that. We'll announce what track we're using for that on the Monday. Then they'll have, 4 days to set a time to get onto the leaderboard. And then, we'll be back next Saturday. Okay, that's Global Edition 8 done and dusted, round 3 done, and we'll be back for round 4 next week. My name's Alex Young, me, Muhammad Afiq, and we'll see you next week.